Hokage give me a face, Chapter 81-100. Chapter 81 Kushina with a small temper. Run. Gotta run. Severe pain invaded his mind, and Yi Yi's face was hideous in pain. That blow just now, the chakra condensed by the elite Jonin was actually broken by Yi Zan. What does this represent? This means that Yi Zan's futon wind style control has reached a very advanced level, and it can even condense the wind element chakra to the sharpness of the ultimate, which can pierce the chakra defense of elite Jonin. If it wasn't for the inability to use Raiden Thunder style, a brat like you would blow up with one punch. Remember, one day, I will beat you to a pulp. After Yui made a vicious declaration, the chakra burst out, turned around, and fled without looking back, and the moment he stepped out of the lightning circle, the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode was activated instantly, accompanied by a burst of bright thunder, like a blue meteor, disappearing without a trace in an instant at 10 times the speed before. Yui escaped. It was the first time in his life that he had escaped. The frontal combat of the Uzumaki clan is not good, but the auxiliary ability can be called a bug. A lightning circle covering 1,000 meters made this group of Raiden Thunder-style powerhouses lose more than half of their combat effectiveness, and just 1 minute after Yui escaped, the other Kumogakure Jonin were all killed. This time Kumogakure village is miserable, the 4 elite Jonin are not a small number. Uchiha Inomi gloated, then his eyes suddenly changed to arrogance, and glanced at Yi Zan disdainfully. It's a pity that the son of the 3rd generation Hokage ran away. Hey, our captain really can't do it. Humph. Yi Zan snorted lightly, and for the first time ignored the other party. He frowned slightly, thinking about the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode that Yi used just now. Okay, stop the war, don't quarrel with the captain all day long, and I don't think it's a bad thing to let Yi go. Now the military power of the Kingdom of Thunder is getting stronger and stronger, and the strength of the 3rd generation Hokage is comparable to that of Lord Hokage. If Yui is really killed, with the grumpy temper of the gangsters in Kumogakure village, maybe they will immediately send troops to destroy the country of Vortex, and then we will not be able to take this responsibility. Nara Shojing's words made Uzumaki Ryushin suddenly realize, and then he remembered that there are 3 generations of Hokage behind Yui. If he was killed just now, the consequences would be unimaginable. As the planner of the collapse of the water country, can you not know this? Thinking of this, Uzumaki Ryushin looked at Yi Zan with full of complaints. Yi Zan had asked him to kill the enemy with all his strength before, but the consequences of killing the enemy with all his strength, but the scourge of genocide. However, just when he was ready to complain to Yi Zan, Hyuga Soji's words made him jump up again. Lord Lu Shan's luck is very good. Fortunately, Xiaozan led the team this time. If it was another Anbu captain, it would be impossible to have a strong lineup like ours. When the time comes to help Lord Lu Shan with kindness, the final outcome will be the destruction of the group. Bar. Hyuga Soji said softly, with a faint warning in his eyes. Uzumaki Ryayama was scared at first, then seemed to think of something, and his face became anxious. All Anbu allies, the enemy has been resolved, the rest is to read the memory. Which one of you? Quote. Yamanaka, are you okay? Well, no problem. Jonin of the Yamanaka clan was restrained and silent. He nodded seriously, walked to a corpse, covered the head of the corpse with his right hand, and closed his eyes. After a while, a faint chakra emanated, and he began to concentrate on exploring the memory of the corpse. Time passed by, Uzumaki Ryayama walked around anxiously, Uchiha Inomi was bored looking at the sky, Hyuga Soji and Nara Heidi stood beside Yamanaka to protect the Dharma. Yi Zan kept frowning and was stunned, even ignoring the skill book that flew out of the corpse, but if you look at it with Byakugan, you can see that the chakra in Yi Zan's body is flowing, forming some filaments trying to get out from the major acupuncture points. Gushing out. Captain. A call woke Yi Zan, who was in deep thought, and when he came back to his senses, he realized that Yamanaka had stopped searching. Ah, what's wrong? Is there a result? Yes, Lord Liushan's son is in another cave a kilometer away. Then let's go and rescue Liu Shan's son. Uzushiogakure village, the home of Uzumaki Ryayama. Yizan covered his forehead with a headache, and beside him was a little boy about 4 years old with a snot. Boss, teach me ninjutsu. Don't. Boss, teach me physical exercises. Go to your sister. But my sister said that the boss is the best. The little boy is the son of Uzumaki Liushan and the third brother of Kushina and Mawako. Hee. With a chuckle, Yizan turned over the Byakugan helplessly. He tapped the table with his fingers and said with a displeased expression, Kushina, take your brother away. Hee, don't take it away. Kushina squinted proudly, like a little fox who stole something. It's your honor for my brother to recognize you as the boss. Go and teach my brother ninjutsu. Thinking beautifully, Yizan pouted, and it was not easy to bully the 4-year-old. Suddenly, as if thinking of something, he rolled his eyes, and after scanning Kushina's body, he laughed wickedly. What do you want to do? You guessed it. Yizan smiled wickedly, and then patted the little boy on the head. I can be your boss, and I can teach you ninjutsu, but you have to help me with one thing. As long as it is done, I can teach you everything. Quote. Really? The little boy's eyes lit up, and after getting Yizan's affirmative answer, he clenched his fists tightly. Boss, what do you want me to do? It's very simple for you to do. As long as you can get Kushina to kiss me, I will teach you ninjutsu. Bastard. With a coquettish shout, Kushina rushed in front of Yizan angrily. She directly pulled the little boy away from Yizan. Her beautiful eyes stared at Yizan. Stinky bastard, do you think you won? Believe it or not, I'll kiss you right away. Yo, little angry, kiss me. Come on, as long as you dare to kiss, I will dare to take your brother to practice. Their eyes met, one was angry and the other was leisurely. Then, before Yizan could react, he felt his cheeks get hot, and Kushina's lips pressed against him. Chapter 82 _ Bring back the Konoha. I didn't see anything. I didn't see it either. In the spacious living room, Uzumaki Liushan and a group of Anbu looked up at the sky. Kushina's face turned Yuhi, and his head almost buried in his knee socket. Just now, the moment she kissed Yizan's cheek, the paper door of the inner room was opened, and Uzumaki Liushan and a group of Anbu came out after the discussion was over. I told you guys, don't make random guesses, okay? It was just a gamble. Kushina and I were gambling. If you don't believe me, ask your son. Yizan patted the little boy's head, but the little boy blinked and shook his head fiercely. No, boss, you guys didn't gamble at all. It was your sister who took the initiative to kiss you. Ah brother, you. Alright, Kushina, no need to explain. We are all here, we all understand. If you like Lord Zan, try to chase after him. Dad supports you. No, I said no. This stinky bastard, I hate him so much, how could I like him? Kushina's face flushed Yuhi with anger, but no one in the living room believed her. She glared at Yizan viciously, stood up, and rushed out. After Kushina left, Uzumaki Liushan also kicked Mawako and his younger son out. After that, Uzumaki Liushan was sitting opposite Yizan, and the originally harmonious living room suddenly became solemn. Come on, let's talk about the outcome of the discussion. Okay. Uzumaki Yanyan coughed lightly, and said slowly with a straight face, originally, I planned to let Kushina go to Konoha and become the next generation of Kyuubi, Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Column Force, but now I have decided to put Kushina and Mawako together. Both are sent to Konoha, the two of them have similar talents. Who is more suitable to be a Jinchuriki Column Force? Then it is up to you, Konoha, to decide. Quote. Oh, Yizan just smiled, did not speak, and continued to stare at Uzumaki Liushan. Ah, and this, give it to Lord Zan as a thank you gift for saving my son. After Uzumaki Liushan finished speaking, he took out a ninjutsu scroll. Yizan spread it out, his pupils shrank sharply, and then he put the scroll in his hand without changing his face. S-level sealing technique, the ghouls are sealed. I accepted your gift. Yizan was satisfied, and Uzumaki Ryushin finally breathed a sigh of relief. After learning that Yizan was the mastermind of the collapse plan of the Land of Water, and found out that the 4 elite Jonin were following Yizan, he knew that Yizan was not an ordinary person, saying in the uncertain future, the Kingdom of Vortex will still need Yizan's help. Yizan is indeed very satisfied. Of course he will not learn to seal the ghoul, but don't forget, Yizan's father is Danzo, and Danzo controls the root. Yizan doesn't learn, but he can let all the members of root learn. Every time he learns one, Yizan and Danzo will have an extra trump card in their hands. Of course, Yizan didn't expect many members of root to learn secret techniques of this level, but there would always be a few would be enough, at least it was worthwhile. Okay, now that the matter is settled, let's leave tomorrow. Ryushin-sama, it's up to you to tell Kushina and Mawako, and tomorrow we will take them back to Konoha directly. Understood. Don't worry, Master Zan, this is all for the sake of the overall situation. I have a good talk with them, they will understand. The next morning, Yizan's group gathered at the entrance of Uzushiogakure village. Uzumaki Ryushin walked over with Kushina and Mawako. The 2 girls had eye circles around Yuhi, obviously reluctant to leave the village. Okay, it's not eating you. Brother is taking you to Konoha to enjoy the happiness, what's there to cry about? Chingfu is a fart. You rascal, I don't want to talk to you. Kushina rubbed her eyes, took Mawako's hand and stopped talking. Compared with Kushina, Mawako's performance was better. She patted Kushina's back gently and comforted her softly, which also stabilized Kushina's emotions. Lord Ryushin, let's go first. Well, my 2 daughters are helpless in Konoha. I hope Lord Zan can take care of them more. No problem, please rest assured on this point. With me, no one in Konoha dares to bully them. After a few days of rushing, Yizan's team finally returned to Konoha with the 2 girls. Since Anbu was on the mission, they could not go through the gate, but through Anbu's dedicated passage, where Konoha's side door came in. After arriving at Konoha, the other members of the team were disbanded. As the captain, Yizan had to go to the Hokage office to report the task. He changed Anbu's clothes in the special room by the side door. After putting on his own clothes, he brought the 2 women to Hokage. Go to the building. Konoha's weekends and holidays are very lively. We can go shopping and eat snacks together in the evening. Kushina, what do you think? Bah, you rascal, I won't go shopping with you. Kushina glared at Yizan viciously and snorted softly. Tsunere turned his head and admired the scenery of Konoha for himself. For Yizan and Kushina's nonsense, Mawako always smiles on the side. She always thinks Yizan is very interesting, but in contrast, she prefers gentle and steady boys, plus Yizan is younger than herself, she always treats Yizan as a younger brother. At this moment, Mawako suddenly found that Yizan's complexion had changed, and a palpitating breath made her feel scared. Following Yizan's gaze, she found that on the street in the distance, a very beautiful blonde woman was walking with a man with long light blue hair. The man with long light blue hair happily said something to the woman. Although the woman kept some distance, she was amused by the other party from time to time, and she seemed to be in a good mood. Kato-dan. When Mawako heard Yizan whisper 2.3, she was a little confused. Is Kato-dan the man's name? But why is Xiaoshuan angry? Could it be because of the blonde sister? Kushina tightly and forced her eyes to open. What caught her eye was a large blue light cluster, like a shooting star, rushing towards the distance. Boom! Boom! With a loud noise, a violent whirlwind rose into the sky. Mawako covered her mouth in surprise. In her line of sight, the long-haired man who was still elated just now was shot hundreds of meters away by a powerful force, and he fell into the earth wall 2 blocks away. Chapter 83 Sarutobi is so wronged. In Hokage's office, Yizan raised his head and looked upset. Sarutobi rubbed his temples with a headache. After a long silence, he slowly asked, the attack on Kato Jonin caused serious injuries, don't you need to give me an explanation? Explain. You should give me an explanation. Hearing Sarutobi's explanation, Yizan suddenly became furious. Dead monkey, I kindly donated 210 billion to Konoha, what is one of the additional terms? Huh, did you forget it for me? I said that no men are allowed around Tsunade. You just let Kato-dan go. Yizan's words gave Sarutobi more headaches. He found that since he took Yizan's money, his life has become more restless. Sarutobi felt that Yizan could overturn Konoha with those additional clauses. Tsunade just came back from the mission, and she didn't even report the mission. She ran into Kato-dan on the road. What can I do? I can't tell all Konoha Jonin not to pick up 05 near Tsunade, right? Sarutobi took a cigarette in distress. Was about to spit it out, but was stopped by Yizan. Don't spit, I'm in a bad mood right now, I can't smell the smoke, swallow the smoke before I forgive you. Ah, well. Sarutobi swallowed it with all his strength, and suddenly he was coughing continuously. His face became more and more bitter, and he felt that taking Yizan's money was the worst decision in his life. Yizan kept teaching Sarutobi a lesson, and because Sarutobi really violated the additional terms, Yizan taught him that he couldn't lift his head up, and in the corner of the office, Kushina and Mawako opened their mouths stupidly, stunned by the scene in front of them. The day before they left the Kingdom of Vortex, they had already learned from their father that Yizan might be the real power faction of Konoha, but they never expected that Yizan had become so powerful that even Lord Hokage, the head of the 5 kingdoms, dared to teach him a lesson. But the reason why Yizan was angry seems to be the big blonde sister, right? Kushina subconsciously turned her head to look at Tsunade, only to find that the other party was staring at her. She was shocked, and withdrew her eyes in fear. Huh, what am I afraid of? Kushina was stunned for a moment, feeling a little embarrassed. She was a little tigress, she was too frightened to look directly at her. Thinking of this, Kushina raised her head again and stared at Tsunade, and Tsunade was also surprised by Kushina's behavior. She looked at Kushina with great interest and seemed to understand something, and a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. What are you laughing at? A stinky woman is as nasty as that stinky hooligan. Kushina thought to herself, but she couldn't help but feel a sense of inferiority. The other party's beautiful face, tall figure, and queen-like aura completely exploded herself in all aspects, and judging from Yizan's attitude towards Sarutobi, it was obvious that very concerned about Tsunade. Damn stinky hooligan, big rascal. She glanced at Yizan viciously, then turned her head and continued to stare at Tsunade. The next moment, her pupils shrank, and found that Tsunade smiled at herself inexplicably, and then walked to Yizan's side. Xiaozan, don't be angry. Tsunade took Yizan's hand and said softly, I just met Jonin Kato by chance. He just told a few jokes, I don't have any thoughts about him. Humph. If you have any idea about him, it means that your vision is too bad. All Konoha Jonin, there is nothing uglier than Kato-dan. Yizan crossed his hips in dissatisfaction. In order to discredit Kato-dan, he directly pulled all Konoha Jonin in. In fact, Kato-dan has some reputation in the Konoha ninja circle, and his appearance can also be ranked in the top 5 in Jonin, but Yizan is like this said that Sarutobi and Tsunade did not dare to object. Okay, my handsome Xiaoshuan, you're right, Kato-dan is the ugliest Jonin in Konoha. Please don't be angry, I'll accompany you to eat glutinous rice balls later. Really? Of course it's true, I have a few days off recently. How about I accompany you these days? Well, that's fine. Yizan nodded reluctantly, and then held Tsunade's hand naturally. The intimacy of the two made Kushina and Mawako understand the relationship between the two. Even she felt that the gap between her sister and Tsunade was too big. Yizan's mood was stable. Sarutobi finally breathed a sigh of relief. He glanced at Tsunade gratefully, and then moved his eyes to Kushina and Mawako. Xiaozan, your mission this time. Oh, you said that. It was only then that Yizan remembered that there were other people in the office. He turned to look at the two women in the corner, beckoned, and let the two women walk to the desk. The taller one is called Uzumaki Mawako, and the shorter one is called Uzumaki Kushina. They are sisters and daughters of the Liuxian patriarch. Oh, in the previous letter, Liu Shan didn't say. I asked for it on my own initiative. A voice interrupted Sarutobi's words. Kushina stared at Sarutobi boldly, and said firmly, if I let my sister come alone, don't worry, if I come alone, my sister will be reluctant to 433, so we two sisters decided to come together, at least we can take care of each other. As for who becomes the next generation Jinchuriki, column force, my father said, it's up to you to choose. Uzumaki Kushina is very courageous and has a firm belief, which makes Sarutobi's eyes light up at once. You must know that people's strength is easily influenced by tailed beasts, and people with firm beliefs are naturally easier to control tailed beasts. And just when Sarutobi wanted to decide the candidate directly, Yizan coughed lightly beside him. His warning gaze was like a basin of cold water, instantly extinguishing Sarutobi's enthusiasm. That. You two are very suitable. This matter is not urgent. There is still some time. The selection of Jinchuiki column force needs to be carefully observed, so let me arrange a place for you first. No need, just stay at my house. Yizan interrupted Sarutobi again. He glanced at Kushina lightly, and said righteously, the two of them are the most suitable people of the Uzumaki family to become a human Jinchuriki column force. In the event of an accident, they will not be able to find the right person. In order to protect their safety in life, they will stay at my house. With my dad here, their safety will be absolutely guaranteed. Quote. Chapter 84 Shimura's Dining Table. The dining table at Shimura's house is a little weird. Originally, Yizan was going to go shopping and eat with Tsunade, but in order to put Kushina and Mawako at home, he took everyone home first, and after choosing a room, he went out to play with Tsunade himself. Got home, it was in the evening, and the setting sun on the horizon gradually descended down the mountain. When I opened the door, Yizan unexpectedly found that Danzo was writing something in the study, and in the kitchen, the chef who was in charge of cooking was also busy cooking. So many people. Since everyone is here, let's eat together. Occasionally, it should be lively and lively. Mom, make more dishes. Danzo's words made Yizan helpless, but since joining Anbu, he hadn't eaten with Danzo for a long time, plus the loneliness of Kushina and Mawako being in a different place, he finally nodded, and then let Kushina go to the kitchen to serve dishes. Why do you want me to serve the dishes? You have to serve the dishes yourself. Kushina raised his eyebrows arrogantly, his big eyes like a little tiger. If you tell me to serve the food, go serve it. Mawako, don't talk, I will educate her today. Yizan stopped Mawako to persuade him, and walked in front of Kushina arrogantly, leaning his head forward, and suddenly Kushina took a step back. Stinky bastard, what do you want to do? Don't do anything, I just want you to serve the dishes. Not only today, you will do the dishes, and dishes is the rent for living in my house. Bastard, who wants to live in your house? Sister, let's go. Don't go. Living in my house is what Lord Hokage wants. As for whether to charge the rent or not, I have the final say. Yizan held his head proudly, and made Kushina's face swell with anger, but at this moment, Danzo finally came out of the study. His face was serious, and the momentum of Konoha's top real power frightened Kushina and Mawako to shrink. Shrink your head. Shaozan, why are you bullying girls again? Danzo glanced at Yizan, his face still serious. Usually, when there are outsiders and juniors, he will remain serious, creating a "I'm scary" attitude. I didn't bully the girl. By the way, you don't have to wash the dishes in the future. I found a dishwasher for you. Oh, that's her. Yizan pointed to Kushina, although Kushina was angry, but in Danzo's serious eyes, she nodded with some fear, and didn't dare to talk to this legendary boss at all. Before leaving the country of Vortex, Uzumaki Liuxian told the two girls some general information about Konoha. Although Kushina was surprised that Yizan was Danzo's son, she never dared to provoke Danzo, whom her father said was cold and cruel. All sit down. Danzo saw Kushina and Mawako for the first time, and with his own personality, he wouldn't have a good or bad reaction, but when he turned to look at Tsunade, his face finally softened. Tsunade, you also sit Xiaoshuan. Next to it, the situation is turbulent recently, and the task is dangerous and heavy. Pay more attention to your body, and if you encounter unexpected situations during the task, the main thing is to protect your own life. If you have an accident, Xiaoshuan will cry to death. Danzo's words immediately made Tsunade shy Yuhi's face. She glared at Yizan angrily, grabbed Yizan's hand under the table, and pinched it hard. Oops. Tsunade, what are you pinching me for? Humph. Tsunade hummed softly, but after finding Danzo's inexplicable gaze, she stroked her hair a little embarrassedly. The strange relationship between her and Yizan had spread throughout the Konoha Jonin circle. Facing Danzo, she always felt a little unnatural. The chef at Shimura's family was very helpful. After a while, a full table of dishes was placed on the table. In addition to several dishes that Yizan likes to eat, fried chicken and sake were also placed. Tsunade blinked suspiciously and didn't react for a while, but when Danzo explained, her pretty face was ashamed of Yuhi again. Xiaoshuan knows that you like fried chicken and wine. He specially kept some in the refrigerator. He said that when you come to the house in the future, you will always have something you like to eat, which is very good. Nasty. I'm not a child, don't think these tricks will work for me. Tsunade glanced at Yizan with Yuhi's face, and took the initiative to hold Yizan's hand under the table. Yizan was very proud. For the first time, he felt that Danzo was a god-level teammate, and he was helping his son to pick up girls. The atmosphere at the dinner table is getting better and better. With Yizan around, Danzo and Tsunade are in a good mood, but Kushina, who is sitting opposite Yizan, has been eating with her head down. Occasionally, she glances at Yizan from the corner of her eye, as if she saw something. Big enemy, bite Kiba's teeth and chew the food. Damn stinky hooligan, you bullied me, and now you are shamelessly hooking up with other women, I remember you. One day, I will beat you, beat you, beat you, beat you. After 2 days after returning to Konoha, Tsunade brought Yizan and Mi Kazuko to the Senju family's clan. Konoha executives finally decided to let Uzumaki Mawako become the next Jinchuriki, column force, and Yizan said that he absolutely did not intervene. Before the tailed beast is placed, it needs to be filled with love. Compared with Kushina, who has a bad temper, Mawako has a gentle personality and has more love in her heart, and it is easier to generate love. Sarutobi and Danzo also realize this. I chose Uzumaki Mawako, and the rest of the people did not object too much. Since I became a Jonin, I haven't returned to the family for several years. I recall the glory of the Senju family when my grandfather was alive, and now. The withered courtyard, the spacious but unpopular house, Tsunade stood blankly at the gate of the clan, until Yizan took her hand, and then he gradually reacted. Come on, go see your grandma, as your future man, it's really not good that you haven't come to visit. Bah, bastard, don't talk nonsense in front of my grandma. I didn't admit it. Tsunade glared at Yizan viciously, then looked at Mawako behind him, and this time, the main reason is for Mawako and grandma to meet. You and I are just here today with Mawako, see grandma later, stand by me obediently be a supporting role. Okay, I know, follow my wife's orders. Humph. Chapter 85 _ only I am worthy of your granddaughter. Senju clan has withered to the extreme. Only a dozen families left in the Nuoda family, 2 Jonins, 7 Chunins, and a dozen Genins, one of which doesn't even have a ninja. In the patriarch's house, an old servant led Yizan and the 3 of them in. The spacious house was deserted, without gorgeous decorations, and some places were broken but not repaired. The madam said that she is old and she is the only one at home, so why waste money on repairs, hey? Old servant was one of the servants who followed Uzumaki Mito to Konoha decades ago. The servants were physically inferior to those of Jonin, and all but the last old servant died. After turning a few corners along the large promenade, everyone finally came to a paper door, opened the paper door, and saw an old woman kneeling on a tatami. Perhaps because of cubit 9 tails, it is also possible that she has practiced the yin seal. She has no wrinkles on her face, her skin is smooth, and she looks only in her 20s. Grandma. Tsunade stepped forward and knelt down beside Uzumaki Mito, and held Mito's hand gently. Uzumaki Mito nodded, and asked kindly, Shao 707, I haven't seen you for a long time, recently. How are you doing? Well, it's fine. Mr. Sarutobi is very good to me and gets along well with my friends. Grandma, you don't have to worry about me. Tsunade said softly, with a childlike smile on his face. Indeed, in Uzumaki Mito in front of her, she will always be a child. No matter how mature she is, she has to worry about herself. Hey, these years, my Tsunade granddaughter has finally grown up. But your temper is too grumpy. You can't find a boyfriend like this. If I can see you find a boyfriend in my grandma's lifetime, Grandma won't be able to find a boyfriend. I'm sorry. Uzumaki Mito spoke earnestly. Tsunade could only agree with a smile. She bit Kiba tightly, as if she had heard Yizan's snickering. Grandma Uzumaki. A voice appeared beside Uzumaki Mito. Tsunade's smile stopped, and Kiba's teeth clenched. This little pervert is really going to disrupt the situation. She thought so, but she couldn't be too violent in front of Uzumaki Mito. She turned her head with a smile, and glared at Yizan fiercely. Little pervert, it was agreed before. Hey, I'm also trying to fulfill your grandma's wish. The two exchanged glances. Yizan smiled and ignored Tsunade's anger. He fluttered to the other side of Uzumaki Mito, scratched his head shyly, looking very cute. Grandma Uzumaki, in fact Tsunade already has boyfriend. Oh, is that so? Uzumaki Mito was a little surprised, and then gave Tsunade a reproachful look. Little Tsunade, you already have a boyfriend, why are you cheating on Grandma? No, Do you think Grandma is getting old and deceiving? No, I don't. Okay, little Tsunade, don't talk, I'm going to listen to the truth now. Uzumaki Mito sternly stopped Tsunade's explanation. Tsunade pouted in aggrieved, glared at Yizan, and decided to fry Yizan for a while. Okay, little girl, don't be afraid of Tsunade. With me here, you can tell the truth. Who is Tsunade's boyfriend? I'll come to the staff, lest this rough granddaughter be deceived. Grandma Uzumaki, it's okay to say it, but you have to tell me first. Do you think I'm cute? Handsome? Am I very manly? Yizan smiled. That look made Uzumaki Mito amused. She used Kyubi 9 Tails power to perceive Yizan seriously, and then said with a smile, You have such a strong strength at a young age, and your will is also very firm. It is only a matter of time before becoming a strong man in the future. I have to say, among the boys I have met, even Hashirama is not as good as you. Really? Of course it's true. Uzumaki Mito nodded earnestly. Now you can tell me who Tsunade's boyfriend is. Far in the sky, close in front of you. Huh. Cough cough. Don't you think that I am the only one in this world worthy of your granddaughter? Senju's house. There are only a few tatami mats in the middle of the large house of hundreds of square meters. Uzumaki Mito with a face full of innocence. Looking at it, Uzumaki Mito, Tsunade and Uzumaki Mawako held hands and whispered. Mawako, is what that kid just said true? Uzumaki Mito looked for evidence, and then Mawako nodded hesitantly. It should be true. I came to Konoha for the past few days. Shimura-san has been staying with Tsunade's sister. My sister and I live in Shimura-san's house, but I never go home to sleep, I heard. I always sleep at Tsunade's sister's house. Mawako, don't talk nonsense. Tsunade was shocked. She didn't expect Mawako to say such a thing, but facing Uzumaki Mito's stern gaze, she shook her head and said softly, Yes, I am Shaoshuan sleeps together, but we are very pure, not what you think. Isn't it what I imagined when we all slept together? Little Tsunade, you continue to lie to me. I didn't lie to you, I just... Okay, Needless to say, Uzumaki Mito waved his hand to stop Tsunade from explaining. She glanced at Tsunade, who was aggrieved, sighed, and said earnestly, "It's nothing, I don't blame you. What if you're older than him? I'm also a few years older than Hashirama. Old man, you will grow up one day, you don't have to be afraid, as long as you have enough chakra, Yinfeng can stay young for a lifetime, don't worry about him disliking you." Grandma, you misunderstood. I didn't misunderstand. Well, that's it for today. You and Xiaoshuan leave first. For the past few days, Mawako will stay with me. When the time comes, Sarutobi will tell you. Grandma. Until then that Tsunade remembered the purpose of this place, and when she thought that Uzumaki Mito's time was short, her eyes filled with yuhi, and tears suddenly fell down. All right, you're such an old man, why do you cry? I've lived for so many years, and it's almost the end of it. You can go. Uzumaki Mito rubbed Tsunade's head. The kind expression finally made Tsunade reluctantly hold back her tears. She pursed her lips, and finally gave Mito a serious look again, as if to keep Mito in her mind forever. Then, I'll go first. Well, let's go. Chapter 86-2 Idiots. Yizan pretended to be forced in front of Uzumaki Mito, the ending. Bang bang ping pong pong. Oops, Kunzi speaks but doesn't move. Excuse me, I'm not a kun, I'm a woman. If you come again, I will fight back. You fight back, I want to see how you fight back. In Tsunade's house, Yizan continued to circle around the table. Tsunade's fists were clenching and rattling, and cooking oil was sizzling in the iron pot in the kitchen. Dead woman, you really want to fry me? Yes, after frying, remove the head and feet, and eat it in one bite till the go, crunch. Tsunade stared at Yizan viciously, as if she really wanted to put Yizan in the frying pan. She stretched out her hand to grab it, and Yizan rolled onto the table like a little monkey, dodging the attack again. If you fry it, you will be a widow. By then, the whole ninja world will know that you Tsunade is a widow with a bad reputation. It doesn't matter, as long as it can fry you. The two chased and fled around the dining table, and after an unknown amount of time, suddenly, there was an explosion. The roaring heat is spraying out of the kitchen. What? The two were stunned for a moment, then turned their heads to look, only to find that the oil in the iron pot was too hot, and the whole oil burst out, poured it on the fire, and ignited the iron pot into a ball of fire. It's on fire. Water. Don't use water, you idiot. How could the oil be drowned out by water? Yizan immediately stopped Tsunade's actions. You know, this is a fire burning on oil. If it is really splashed with water, the flame will not only not go out, but will burn even more fiercely. What then? Use Doden Earth style. Do you know Doden Earth style? No. Neither would I. Two idiots, you look at me, I look at you, dumbfounded at the same time. They stare at the kitchen dumbly, not knowing how to put out the fire. The fire in the kitchen got bigger and bigger. Because of the oil, the fire spread quickly. With thick black smoke, passing residents finally noticed the abnormality of Tsunade's house and immediately called the police. Well, Konoha called the police, naturally referring to the Konoha garrison that Uchiha was in charge of. It's not uncommon for the fire in the house to happen. The garrison quickly came to 3 ninjas. When they found out that the fire was caused by oil, a Doden Earth-style ninja immediately hand-seal, put out the raging fire. The fire is out, but another problem arises. Yizan was okay to say, but Tsunade could be Konoha's celebrity, Princess Konoha, Sarutobi's apprentice, and a few Uchiha stared at Tsunade blankly. That weird look made Tsunade want to find a hole in the ground. But at this time, Yizan rolled his eyes lit up, and he suddenly had an idea. Idiot Tsunade, look at what you've done. Yizan's scolding shocked Tsunade for a moment. She was about to get furious when she noticed Yizan kept blinking at herself. As if he understood something, Tsunade tacitly shook his shoulders and said helplessly, "Blame me. Would the oil pan catch fire if you hadn't been running? Ah, ah, ah. How can you be such a hateful woman? I can't run anymore. You're going to fry me, and I won't run. It's your honor to fry. Konoha doesn't know how many people are queuing up for me to fry, don't you believe it? Ask them if you don't believe me, they are all willing to be fried by me. Tsunade pointed at the ninjas of the garrison, and scared the group of ninjas to change color, and ran away without saying a word. After the ninja of the security force left, Yizan finally stopped talking. He glanced at Tsunade, sighed softly, and slowly sat on the ground. Hey. I finally passed the test. Yeah, I don't know if these people will talk nonsense about today's affairs. Tsunade also sat down tiredly and leaned beside Yizan. Probably not. You scared them like that. If you dare to spread it around, you will really fry them. HMPH, fry your ass. I've lost my face today, and it's all my fault. Okay, blame me, who called me your man? It's not. The family's oolong didn't get out in the end, which finally gave the two of them a sigh of relief, but just a few days after the two were messing around, a piece of news came, and Tsunade's mood fell to the bottom. The news is transfer Kyubi, 9 Tails. During the few days that Uzumaki Mito and Uzumaki Mawako were together, the loneliness and emptiness in Mawako's heart was finally filled with love. She put down her mental burden and decided to face life with an optimistic attitude from now on. Transfer of Kyubi, 9 Tails, is very important. As early as a month ago, Anbu formed a special enchantment class for this matter. Because the matter was too important, even Orochimaru and Jiraiya did not know, but because Yishuan the particularity of Tsunade, the two were fortunate enough to witness the process. In the dense forest south of Konoha, there is a huge Matsuri altar of fire. The Matsuri altar is engraved with a large number of patterns, which are specially set for the seal of Kyubi, 9 Tails. Large number of Anbu are hidden in various places, alerting outsiders to break in. Uzumaki Mito and Uzumaki Mawako stood on the Matsuri altar, surrounded by 40 seal-class Anbu, and behind this group of Anbu there was a circle of Anbu, about 30 people. Everyone was half-kneeling on the ground, with a huge seal scroll in front of everyone. Sarutobi, Danzo, the two major advisors, Tsunade and Yizan stood not far from the Matsuri altar. Tsunade's eyes were filled with Yuhi's eyes, and he looked at Uzumaki Mito with reluctance. Let's get started. Sarutobi ordered in a low voice, and then, the 40 seal-class Anbu hand sealed at the same time, and clapped their hands on the seal scroll almost at the same time. Boom! A large amount of smoke filled the air, and 40 rays of light flew into the air, condensing on the top of Uzumaki Mito's head. Gradually, a square light curtain enveloped her and at the same time isolated Mawako. Boom! Anbu in the back circle slapped on the reel. Then, a large number of blue chakra lines extended from the reel to the Matsuri altar. All the patterns on the Matsuri altar were lit up. After a while, a blue circle formed under Uzumaki Mawako's feet. Everything was ready. Uzumaki Mito finally made the last step. She glanced at Tsunade kindly, and then lightly pressed her hand on her stomach. The seal of the 4 elephants, unlock it. A loud shout, Uzumaki Mito released the Kyubi, 9 Tails seal on his body, and in an instant, a Yuhi light shot up into the sky, shattering Shirakumo in the sky. Roar! Chapter 87 Kyubi, 9 Tails give me face. With a terrifying roar, the endless Yuhi light converged into a 100-meter-high fox, and its 9 tails fluttered and danced, as if it could tear the air apart. Come out. I'm finally out. Stupid humans, I've been locked up for so long, I'm going to kill you. Kyubi, 9 Tails, roared up to the sky, and a murderousness that surpassed cage level several times broke out. Anbu Elite Jonin's complexion changed dramatically, and some ordinary Jonin were even more frightened by the murderous aura, their faces turned pale and their feet trembled. Be careful, son. Danzo took a step forward to block Yizan, exuding a powerful aura, blocking Kyubi, 9 Tails' murderous aura. Boom! 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 With a loud noise, the Nine Tails slapped the light curtain barrier frantically, and the barrier vibrated violently. Anbu, who was half kneeling on the ground, staggered to and fro, and his hands almost lost connection with the scroll. Uzumaki Mawako, hurry up! Sarutobi's shouting finally woke up the shocked Mawako. She was standing at the foot of Kyubi, Nine Tails, less than half a meter from Kyubi, Nine Tails. If it wasn't blocked by the light curtain barrier, she would have been blocked by Kyubi, Nine Tails. The flames on Nine Tails burned to death. Seal. Adamantine sealing chains. Mawako clenched Kiba tightly, and a golden chain of dozens of chakras extended from her back. This is an ability that can only be used by very special people in the Uzumaki family. Currently, only Mawako and Kushina can use the entire Uzumaki family. Kyubi, Nine Tails, couldn't break through the barrier, but Mawako's chain went through the barrier and easily pierced Kyubi, Nine Tails' body. Kyubi, Nine Tails, roared, struggled frantically, and the chain broke. Mawako's face instantly lost its blood. Her age is too young. Even if the Uzumaki family is born with dozens of times more chakras than others, it cannot support such consumption. Second team, chakra added. Sarutobi ordered in a deep voice, and then, the blue light circle under Mawako's feet lit up. A large amount of chakra penetrated into the soles of Mawako's feet, and her pale cheeks gradually returned to blood. Mawako burst into potential again. She hand-sealed with both hands. Each golden iron chain was divided into 2, and then divided into 3. Pierced, completely tied up. It worked. Kyubi, Nine Tails, the chain finally began to retract towards Mawako's body, and at this moment, Yizan walked out under everyone's astonished eyes and walked to the Matsuri altar. Xiaozan. Don't mind me. Yizan waved to stop him. He raised his head, stared at Kyubi, Nine Tails, greedily, his mouth kakuzu drooling. Yizan's strange performance was also discovered by Kyubi, Nine Tails. A doubt flashed in his mind, and then Yizan's voice entered his ears. Kyubi, Nine Tails, give me face and become a piece of shit. What? Circle.operator_circle.operator. Kyubi, Nine Tails, widened his eyes like a husky, completely dumbfounded. It doesn't turn its head around. It thinks, shit, it seems like an insulting word. It was still thinking, but the next second, Yizan's voice came over again. Don't think about it, I'm just insulting you, don't you agree? Come and beat me. Roar. With an earth-shattering roar, Kyubi, Nine Tails, was furious. It stared at Yizan with a grin. All attention was focused on Yizan. It vowed to slaughter Yizan. Its uncle Kyubi, Nine Tails, has always brought fear to people, and has never suffered such an insult. However, just when it focused all its attention on Yizan, the golden iron chain suddenly exerted force, and the powerful tear made Kyubi, Nine Tails, suddenly react, and he was still struggling. Haha, you really are an idiot, let's obediently seal it in someone else's body. I'm really afraid that you will live alone in the ninja world. Your intelligence quotient will be slaughtered casually. Damn little brat, I remember you. Don't let me come out one day. I remember you, waiting for you. One day, I will. Chain pulled, and before Kyubi, Nine Tails, finished speaking, it turned into a piece of chakra and was absorbed by Mawako. At the same time, Sarutobi's face froze, and he suddenly rushed to Mawako's side, and slapped Mawako's belly with his right palm. 4 elephant seals, seal. The powerful cage-level chakra was released suddenly. The power of the seal and the unwilling power of Kyubi, Nine Tails, collided with each other. The violent chakra reaction made Mawako scream in pain, and instantly fainted. Collapsed to the ground, Sarutobi sealed Kyubi, Nine Tails, with all her strength, and soon, the seal of the 4 elephants prevailed, gradually defeating the remaining power of Kyubi, Nine Tails, and successfully completing the seal. Success. Sarutobi was overjoyed, then turned to look at Yizan, his tone full of admiration. I didn't expect Xiaozan to use this method to attract the attention of Kyubi, Nine Tails, otherwise the seal wouldn't be so easy. Xiaoshuan, thank you. Hey, no thanks, I really didn't want to seal it. Okay, Xiaoshuan, don't be humble, but seriously, this is the first time I see Xiaoshuan being modest. Idiot dead monkey, I said it wasn't to attract the attention of QB, Nine Tails. With your IQ, you don't understand it. Yizan turned over Byakugan, but there was a smile that could not be concealed at the corner of his mouth. If it weren't for the presence of many people around, he would almost jump up with excitement. The ability of the face fruit is used on QB, Nine Tails. This is what Yizan suddenly thought of when he had a flash of inspiration just now. He casually set up a condition that QB, Nine Tails, could not accept. If QB, Nine Tails, did not agree, the second ability would definitely be triggered. If the duel failed, it would be fine. If it succeeded, what kind of book would it explode? When QB, Nine Tails, is absorbed by Uzumaki Mawako, the duel is a success. Book, also burst 0.6. Yizan saw that it was an illusory, golden book. After absorbing it into his mind, he couldn't wait to sink his thoughts into the sea of consciousness. In front of the dazzling screen, he saw the first golden skill book in his life. Open black lens bracket QB, Nine Tails Chakra Recovery Power, S Gold, Human Version, 400 ingots close black lens bracket. The wearer can be permanently at the limit recovery speed of human chakra. The ultimate recovery speed of human chakra. Yizan didn't know how much it was, but he knew it was fast, very fast. Because, this is an S-rank golden skill, and it is the strongest skill that face fruit can obtain. I got rich. Chapter 88 Never worry about chakra again. In the sea of consciousness, Yizan jumped up and down, extremely happy. I don't know how long it took, his emotions slowly calmed down, and he leaned in front of the screen again. Gui Lan Yaoyu, who was killed in the land of water before, had a purple great exploding water colliding wave, but this technique is only to create an environment suitable for Sweden, water-style, ninjas to fight, and it doesn't matter to me. Use. Yizan knows this technique. In the original book, the ghost shark and the shark muscle are combined to create a 10-kilometer super ocean with the great exploding water colliding wave, but only the ghost shark can do it, and the ghost shark's great exploding water colliding wave should be its max level orange. Now the country of water has been collapsed by himself. It is impossible for the economy to recover within a few decades. That is to say, it is impossible to participate in the second and third ninja wars in the country of water. I am a wind and thunder ninja, unless it is a special geographical environment, otherwise Sweden, water style, is hardly ever used. Thinking of this, Yizan sold the great exploding water colliding wave that had been stored for a long time, and then looked at the other 5 skills. These 5 skills of O5 were exploded by Yaoi and the others. Yaoi escaped, and the duel judged that Yizan won, and the fruit ability sucked a skill book directly from Yaoi, and the other 4 died, which naturally exploded. Ninjutsu. Sanda Mu Ludo, a purple, 40 ingots. Open black lens bracket Raiden, thunder style. Heavy flow storm, a purple, 40 ingots close black lens bracket. Taiju. Kumogakure fighting technique, a purple, 40 ingots. Ninjutsu. Sanda Mu Ludo, a blue, 20 ingots. Except for one that is a bit rubbish, the other 3 are okay. Yizan nodded with satisfaction, and then looked at the book that Yaoi exploded. Open black lens bracket Raiden, thunder style, chakra mode, S white, 20 ingots close black lens bracket. Wow! It really exploded. Yizan's eyes widened, and saliva flowed from the corner of his mouth again. Ba ba ba, what a drool. Yizan quickly wiped his mouth, his eyes were full of greed. Maybe Yaoi learned this trick, it's just a white book, but it's always S-rank ninjutsu. Yizan guessed, the almost invincible defense of the 3rd generation Raikage, should have practiced this trick to golden color. As mentioned in the original work, the 3rd generation Raikage was 1 vs 10,000 in a certain war, and the 3-day and 3-night battle died due to insufficient chakra exhaustion, but during these 3 days, no one could break the shield of the 3rd generation Raikage. Not only that, but when the 3rd generation Raikage was summoned by Impure World Reincarnation, Naruto's Senpo, Sage Art, Rasengan Shuriken couldn't break that layer of Raiden, thunder-style bodyguard. The only thing that can be broken is that the third generation of Reikage has cultivated to the golden level of one finger. Anyway, it's still early. Although it's only white, it can be upgraded slowly. Besides, aren't there ingots right now? Yizan made a decisive decision and sold the other 4 books, plus the book of Ghost Lantern Yaoyu and a small amount of ingots left before, and the account suddenly skyrocketed to 201 ingots. Upgrade. Yizan, like a local tyrant, upgraded the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode to purple in one breath, but unfortunately the ingots were insufficient, and the subsequent orange and gold required 200 and 400 ingots respectively. There are 81 ingots left, keep it for the time being, my own moves have yet to be developed. Yizan's so-called own move is exactly the futon wind style chakra mode that he is constantly working on. He attacked Kato-dan a few days ago, and the move that even the elite Jonin Kato-dan couldn't react to was exactly Yizan. Zan developed a small half of the futon wind style mode, but unfortunately the original S-class ninjutsu is too difficult to develop in a short period of time. Of course, Kato-dan couldn't react, firstly because Yizan was too fast, and secondly, because he never thought he would be attacked on Konoha Street. Yizan was seriously injured in one blow. Like to Feng Keilei, as long as I develop the futon wind style mode and learn the golden color from these 2 modes, the land of the earth and the land of thunder will be slag, and there are QB 9 tails chakra recovery power, you don't have to worry about the lack of chakra anymore. Thinking of this, Yizan was finally satisfied. He exited the sea of consciousness, only to find that the atmosphere outside was a little sad. Uzumaki Mito's funeral was kept secret, and after attending the funeral, Yizan returned home with Tsunade and Uzumaki Mawako. Sister, what's the matter? Kushina, who was approaching, immediately hugged Mawako. Her tone was anxious and worried. She hadn't seen her for a few days. She was really afraid that Mawako would have an accident. It's okay, it's over, I'll be fine. Mawako patted Kushina on the back comfortingly. Her gentle smile was bright like never before. It was a kind of love. Love of life. Okay, you 2 sisters don't need to be sad here. You can be at peace when you come, and live in Konoha obediently in the future. With me here, you 2 will not be bullied by anyone. Yizan arrogantly put his hands behind his back, looking like I was a local snake. Of course, the 2 sisters believed this. The local snake who dared to teach Lord Hokage a lesson was so strong that it exploded. However, Kushina just couldn't get used to Yizan's arrogant look. She glared at Yizan fiercely, kicked her feet suddenly, and kicked Yizan's crotch from bottom to top. Oops, crazy woman, what are you doing? Yizan was horrified, but fortunately reacted quickly. His legs were together, and he pinched Kushina's 977 feet to his knees. His eyes widened in disbelief, but he was greeted by Kushina's provocation look. Just kick you, you stinky bastard, the last time you beat my ass, but so badly, I always remember it. What, sister, are you serious? Lord Zan beat you, where? Wow, Xiaoshuan, so you've started provoking girls again. Uzumaki Mawako and Tsunade turned their attention to Yizan at the same time. Yizan's face froze. He put down Kushina's legs, quietly took 2 steps back, turned around and ran. Don't try to run. A coquettish shout, Tsunade instantly grabbed Yizan's collar, pulling Yizan to a stagger with enormous strength, but he couldn't run away. He looked at Tsunade pitifully, but this time, Tsunade did not continue to be soft-hearted. Bastard, bully me, bully Makoto, and now bully Kushina, say. How many girls are you trying to bully? There are not many left. How many? 2 are also several, 9 are also several, say. How many are there? That, a bit too much, wait for me to calculate first tilde. Bang bang ping ping pong. Chapter 89_2 Girls Go to School. Ninja School 2nd Grade Class A. Teacher Duanmu is speaking loudly. Several months have passed since Yizan dropped out of school, and this class has officially entered the 2nd grade. Boom. With a loud noise, the door of the classroom was kicked open, and the loud noise interrupted Teacher Duanmu's lecture. His expression changed and he turned his head to look at him angrily. "Who is it? Didn't you hear me teaching? Come in. I want to see who dares to interrupt me during my class." Teacher Duanmu walked over angrily, and then his face changed again, a little scared, taking a step back. "Yes. Yes, Shimura-san," he said. His tone forcibly became amiable, as if he saw the two people behind Yizan, and subconsciously asked, "These two are?" "It's my friends, Uzumaki Kushina and Uzumaki Mawako. This is the signature of Hokage-sama. From today, the two of them will be in this class." Yizan handed over a piece of paper and glanced at the other person lightly. The increasingly powerful strength made Teacher Duanmu's face not very good-looking. "Since it was Lord Hokage's order, then invite the two classmates to come in, and you sit down." "No, I'll make arrangements." Yizan directly interrupted Teacher Duanmu's words, which made Teacher Duanmu's face worse and worse. He didn't care about a small teacher, and walked in with the two girls swaggeringly. "Get out of the way." Yizan pointed at a civilian student, and he didn't know if he was equipped with Kyubi, Nine Tails, chakra recovery power. Yizan's every move had an irresistible deterrent force, especially if he didn't. It's easier for those who know him to feel it. The civilian student was frightened by Yizan's aura, and moved away without saying a word. Then, Yizan glanced at Uzumaki Mawako and raised his chin. "Mawako, this is a good place, you sit." "Yeah." Mawako nodded, and after sitting down, she greeted the boy next to her gently. "Classmates, please give me more advice." "Please advise." Namikaze Minato smiled brightly, and took the initiative to reach out and shake Mawako. In his heart, the friend who could be recognized by Yizan was also his friend. Because of Mawako's appearance, although she has beautiful Yuhi hair and a gentle personality, Minato didn't think much about it, but he didn't know that when he shook hands with Mawako with a bright smile, Mawako's heart skipped a beat, and her cheeks jumped slightly. Suddenly a little Yuhi. Such a bright smile, such a sunny boy. Thinking like this, she turned her head in embarrassment. Although Minato was puzzled, she didn't quite understand. Hey. Yizan smirked, but didn't say anything. Then, he turned his eyes to the farthest corner of the back row. It was a civilian girl. Yizan didn't need to speak at all, so the girl walked out and gave way. "Kushina, you go and sit there." "Don't go, it's too remote, I want to sit with my sister." Kushina pouted in dissatisfaction, thinking that Yizan was deliberately harassing her. "I told you to go, you just go, and there are little paws next to you, there are black pills that you can touch, and Makoto next to them, they are all my friends, you won't get bored if you sit in the innermost part." Quote. "No, I'm going to sit with my sister." "Will you go?" "Don't go." "Really not going?" "Really don't go." Kushina pouted unyieldingly. Yizan was not annoyed, he gave Kushina a light glance, especially stopped for a while on his butt. "Asshole." Kushina is very shy. You know, the whole class is staring here at this moment. Maybe no one knows Yizan's eyes, but Kushina still feels very shy. Under Yizan's soft threat, Kushina reluctantly sat in the back row, and the puppy, Heiwan, let out a milky cry. Kushina's face suddenly softened due to her cute appearance, and she carefully touched it. "Take the black pill. The two of them are my friends, new arrivals, please take care of them. After school in the afternoon, we will eat barbecue together, I will treat you." Yizan's words were naturally said to his little friends, and about taking care of the new friends. Shikaku Minato naturally agreed. Makoto also quietly glanced at Kushina and nodded seriously. "Okay, everyone, let's continue the class. I still have something to do. Let's go first. After school in the afternoon, we will gather at the school gate." Yizan nodded to everyone, and then, a violent thunder burst, dazzling thunder burst out, and in the next instant, with a loud noise, Yizan disappeared without a trace. The sudden change made everyone in the classroom stunned, and Teacher Duanmu on the podium even opened his mouth and couldn't even speak. Call out. Sizzle. The dazzling thunder swept across the Konoha building, and the terrifying power shocked a large number of Konoha ninjas, and then, it caused unrest in the entire Konoha. His target is the Hokage building. Stop him. I can't stop it. Kumogakure village has invaded Konoha. What a horrible Raiden Thunder style. The speed is too fast to catch up. Everyone follows me to the Hokage building to protect the safety of Lord Hokage. Konoha was in a mess, and at this moment, Sarutobi and Danzo who were in the Hokage office also heard the chaos outside. They looked at each other and quickly walked to the floor-to-ceiling window to look out. Extremely complex emotions arise. Shocked, puzzled, relieved, and with a hint of emotion, Sarutobi and Danzo dodged immediately when the violent thunder light rushed up from the distant street, only to hear a loud noise on 2.1, and the entire window was smashed by the thunder. Yo, you're all here. The thunder light dissipated, Yi-zan greeted with a smile, and seeing Yi-zan's unconcerned performance, Sarutobi's face turned black, and he jumped up and cursed. Stinky brat, you can't take it easy. Do you know how much it will cost to repair the window? Money. I know, just take it slowly from my 210 billion miles. Yi-zan's understated voice made Sarutobi speechless. As he guessed, Yi-zan was really about to overturn Konoha. Seeing a large number of ninjas gathering from a distance, he glared at Yi-zan and decided to put things first. Calm down and talk. Chapter 90_Upcoming War. That is to say, you watched Yayui's Raiden Thunder style chakra mode and learned it yourself. Then, the one that attacked Kato Jonin a few days ago was the one who studied a small half of the futon wind style chakra pattern. In Hokage's office, Yi-zan held his head proudly, and Sarutobi and Danzo did not believe Yi-zan's answer, but they had to believe it. After all, Yi-zan has always been a genius, and he is naturally sensitive to wind and thunder attributes. Even if he develops 2S rank ninjutsu, it is not impossible. QB Ninetales chakra recovery power is continuous recovery, so that Yi-zan no longer has to worry about chakra consumption. As long as his chakra limit is not exceeded instantly, Yi-zan's chakra can recover. Raiden Thunder style mode is not a panacea. Although Yi-zan can use this trick to increase the speed by n times, the essence of Raiden Thunder style is to stimulate cell activity. If it is used for a long time, it will cause serious damage to muscle cells. If you use this trick to resist ninjutsu, with Yi-zan's Chunin chakra, it will be difficult to withstand the bombardment of A05S level ninjutsu. That is to say, although the Raiden Thunder style mode is invincible, the physical quality and the total amount of chakra are very important. If Yi-zan reaches Kage level and has the physical quality of Raikage, his Raiden Thunder style armor is really invincible. The weakness of Raiden Thunder style mode was analyzed by Sarutobi. Yi-zan was a little surprised, and was impressed by Sarutobi's analytical ability. Afterwards, Yi-zan glanced at Danzo, and the look of contempt made Danzo's face stiff. Xiao-zan, I'm just too lazy to talk. Sarutobi can understand it, but I still can't understand it. Danzo explained, but Yi-zan didn't believe it. And the meaning of, I am much better than Sarutobi, in Danzo's words immediately made Sarutobi unhappy. He took a deep breath and said loudly, Danzo, what is it? I understand it, but you still can't understand it. Understand. Change the meaning to understand, that is, you understand what I understand, and you still understand what I don't understand, is that the meaning? That's what it means. With his son here, Danzo didn't want to show weakness in front of Sarutobi. He clearly knew the language of this sentence, but he made a mistake and even pouted in disdain. This time, Sarutobi got angry. He put down his pipe and cursed. Good, you Danzo. It's okay for your son to mess up Konoha, and it's okay to teach me a lesson that I can't even lift my head up. Now, you also want to bully me now. I'm not bullying you, I'm telling the truth. Then tell me, you understand, what is there that I don't understand? This. Sarutobi was stunned for a while, but couldn't remember for a while. After all, both of them were cage-level powerhouses and the actual rulers of Konoha. Just when Sarutobi was stunned, there was a knock on the door of the office. Sarutobi returned to his senses, glared at Danzo again, and his emotions gradually calmed down. "Please come in." The door was pushed open, and two advisors, Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado, walked in. The faces of the two advisors were very solemn, and for a while, the faces of Sarutobi and Danzo also sank. "Kaharu, what happened?" Sarutobi asked in a deep voice, already having a bad feeling in his heart. "It's really happened." Kaharu Udatane walked up to Sarutobi and handed over the intelligence scroll in his hand. "The urgent report from the spy of the Kingdom of Thunder, read it for yourself." Sarutobi took the intelligence scroll and quickly browsed it. Then, he handed the intelligence scroll to Danzo. After Danzo frowned, he handed the scroll to Yizan. For Danzo's actions, there was no reaction from the few people present. Since Yizan formulated the plan for the collapse of the Kingdom of Water and succeeded, Yizan has been recognized by several people and was hired by Sarutobi as Konoha's secret advisor. Of course, all of Yizan's information was covered up by Sarutobi, Danzo and the two major advisors. They still understood the truth of Mu Shuyulin. Before Yizan was not really strong, they would try their best to protect Yizan. The information in the intelligence is very simple. The Kingdom of Thunder has issued a nationwide mobilization, and they have provoked a war openly and above board. Decided to attack Konoha to obtain better resources on the grounds that Senju Hashirama was unfairly distributed during World War I, or, Konoha voluntarily ceded the land and gave half of the country to them. Bah, still want half of our country. Those bastards. Kaharu Udatane cursed, his face ashen with anger. It's just an excuse. The first generation could have unified the ninja world, but for the so-called peace, the tailed beasts were equally divided among the 5 countries, and the land area was also divided. If Dorian. Sarutobi raised his voice. Homura Mitokado immediately knew that he had said the wrong thing, and seeing Menyon shut up, Sarutobi was silent for a while, and then slowly said, "The practice of the early generation is correct, but the human heart will change with the environment, and there is a place for people. There is a struggle, and even if Konoha unified the ninja world back then, it would eventually split internally, not too different from the current situation." Quote. He sighed softly, then turned his eyes to Danzo. "Danzo, what do you think?" "Fight if you want. My suggestion is to go to war." Danzo's hardliners have never changed. Sarutobi nodded understandingly, and then turned his attention to the two advisors. "What do you think?" "We think." Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado looked at each other and said, "War." "You also support war?" "Yes, since the death of the first generation, the Kumogakure village has been very ambitious, and the military expenditure has increased every year. It is obvious that they are ready, and the war provoked by the wind and water before is also an opportunity. Not only that, I think, the village of Kumogakure should start to be afraid." Quote. Afraid. Now, not only Sarutobi, but Danzo is also puzzled. They don't understand why Kaharu Udatane thinks Kumogakure village is afraid. No need to wonder, it's actually very simple. Since Shaoshuin collapsed the Kingdom of Water, the whole ninja world has known that our Konoha is hiding a monstrous genius. I think, the 3rd generation of Raikage should be afraid. They want to provoke a war and destroy our Konoha. The younger generation, if I guess correctly, they have successfully united with the Land of Earth and the Land of Wind, which means that if Konoha does not take the initiative, they will be besieged by the 3 kingdoms. Quote. Chapter-81-Sister, are you? The Konoha high-level officials voted unanimously to start the war, and the entire village quickly began to function. Sarutobi is not the old man who was decades later. Although he loves peace, he still has blood in his heart at the moment. As a Ningxiang, he no longer hesitated and immediately convened the Patriarch meeting. After the Patriarch meeting was over, he held the Konoha Jonin General meeting. But these are not what Yizan cares about. In order to protect Yizan's privacy, he is not allowed to participate in ordinary meetings. All his suggestions and words can only be spread in the ears of Sarutobi. In the most luxurious barbecue restaurant in Konoha, Yuzan asked for a private room. Everyone can order, eat lively, and if you have money, you can spend whatever you want. Yuzan called the boss over, quite a bit of pointing at the country, and everyone was not divided. Soon, more than a dozen stacks of beef, mutton and meat skewers were placed. First of all, to celebrate the addition of 2 partners to our small group, cheers everyone. Yuzan shouted enthusiastically with a glass of orange juice, and everyone also picked up the orange juice and touched it. It has not been so lively for a long time, and there is no need to worry about skipping classes and being beaten by parents, which makes everyone very happy. Even staring at the meaty Choza also moved his gaze to the clink. The seats for the 9 people were carefully arranged by Yuzan. Makoto sat on the left of Yuzan. Kushina sat on the right of Yuzan with a displeased face. Next to Kushina was Mawako. Next to Mawako was Minato. On Makoto's side, next to Makoto is Inuzuka Claw, and next to Inuzuka Claw is Inoshika Cho. 3 people. This kind of seat seems unintentional. In fact, Makoto and Kushina are Yuzan on this side, and girls on the other side. Not only that, Yuzan also deliberately arranged Minato next to Mawako. No, the sunny Minato had already raised his cup and touched Mawako. Welcome to the new partner. Minato's bright smile was very contagious, and immediately made Mawako Yuhi's face. She gently touched the glass with Minato, and moved her eyes to the water glass in panic. Kushina-san. After clinking glasses with Mawako, Minato wanted to clink glasses with Kushina again, but Kushina just turned the Byakugan and said bluntly, "I don't clink glasses with sissies." Ah! Minato was embarrassed, his face suddenly a little embarrassed. He scratched his head embarrassedly, and explained softly, "Kushina classmate, I'm not a sissy, You are." Perhaps sitting next to Yuzan made her very uncomfortable. Kushina's little temper was suddenly triggered. She glared at Minato fiercely, and drank the orange juice in her glass. "Stinky rascal, pour me some water." Kushina put the empty glass in front of Yuzan's table with a pop. Yuzan was stunned, and then poured out the remaining orange juice in his glass. Disgusting. I like to drink or not. Yuzan glanced at Kushina, then turned to Uchiha Mikoto's side. His mouth twitched, and his smile burst into a smile. "My little Makoto, have you missed me recently?" "Zan. Big brother Zan, you." Uchiha Makoto was still so shy. Her face Yuhi bowed her head, holding the orange juice in both hands motionless. "Huh, little Makoto doesn't like drinking orange juice. You see I don't have any orange juice in my glass. Have pity on me, give me some tilde." Yuzan smirked and snatched the glass from Makoto's hand, embarrassed at the other side. In his eyes, he poured half of it into his cup. "Zan, brother Zan, I've drunk." She became more and more shy, especially Yuzan's burning gaze made her heart beat faster. "Ha ha ha, it doesn't matter, Makoto is better, the orange juice has a slight strawberry flavor tilde." Yuzan kept teasing Uchiha Makoto, and Kushina next to him kept turning over Byakugan. Seeing that there was half a glass of orange juice in Yuzan's glass, she rolled her eyes and took the glass directly while Yuzan was not paying attention. "Uzumaki Kushina, what are you doing?" "I don't do anything, I'm thirsty." Kushina raised his eyebrows defiantly, opened his mouth, and drank the orange juice. "Bastard, why are you drinking my orange juice? Makoto gave it to me." Hey, I just want to drink it." Kushina was very proud, and then she poured the orange juice in her cup into Yuzan's cup, and handed it over in disgust. "Take it, the disgusting orange juice you have drunk. This girl, I won't drink it." "You." Yuzan stared and grabbed his water glass back. He was about to continue arguing with Kushina when Mawako finally stood up. "You two are really happy friends." "That's not it. Sister, don't talk nonsense. How could I be friends with this stinky hooligan?" "That's right, how could I be friends with this grumpy stinky woman?" The two quarreled again. Maybe it was funny. Minato also participated. "Kushina-san, in fact, Big Brother Zan is very good to people, he. Shut up, sissy. Kushina stared savagely, and Minato closed her mouth again aggrieved. This time, Mawako finally couldn't stand it anymore. She grabbed Kushina and said seriously, Sister, don't insult Minato like this. Where is Minato, sissy? I think classmate Minato is more mature and stable than your Xiaoshuan, so don't say that to classmate Minato in the future. Huh, Kushina was stunned for a moment, and suddenly became puzzled. Sister, what are you talking about? The stinky hooligan is not my family. Also, when did you speak for outsiders? Under Kushina's attention, Mawako, who was not good at hiding, panicked. She turned her head sharply, stared at the water glass, and said nothing to Kushina. The sudden situation caught everyone's attention. Ino Shikacho and Inuzuka Pa exchanged eye contact with each other. Although Yizan didn't say anything, there was a smile on the corner of his mouth that only Makoto could find. Not only them, but even Namikaze Minato was stunned. No matter how stupid he was, he found something wrong, and he wasn't stupid either. He stared blankly at Mawako Yuhi's profile. Although it was not beautiful, it had a gentle and calming magic. Being watched by so many people, Mawako's cheeks became more and more Yuhi, and at this moment, Kushina finally spoke, breaking the weird atmosphere. Sister, you're not in love with Minato-san, are you? Chapter 92 _ Send Makoto home. Go ahead. Well, take care of your new partner in the future, Tilda. Understood. Wong wong wong. At the entrance of the barbecue restaurant, the well-fed people said their goodbyes. Inuzuka Claw and Ino Shikacho left first, and then Namikaze Minato scratched his head a little embarrassedly. Brother Zan, it's almost time for me to go back. Well, practice hard, I'm very optimistic about you. Thank you, Brother Zan, I will definitely practice hard. Namikaze Minato nodded firmly to Yizan, then looked at Sister Uzumaki. That, Kushina-san, am I? Mawako-san, it's almost time for me to go back. Humph. Kushina snorted and curled her lips in annoyance, while Mawako raised her head, with a shy Yuhi dizzy on her cheeks. Minato-san, see you tomorrow. Her voice was soft, and Minato felt shy with her strange attitude. At the dinner table before, Mawako didn't admit that she liked Namikaze Minato, but the people present were not fools, and her weird behavior had almost been acquiesced. Although the contact time was very short, everyone also found that Mawako was a gentle and thin-skinned girl. In order to take care of Mawako's face, she did not break the matter. Oh, alright you two. Stop flirting here, 670 we are still watching. Kushina stuck her waist, very dissatisfied that her sister would like a sissy. She thinks, Yizan is better than Namikaze Minato. If you want to choose, you should also choose Yizan. Ba ba ba. I wouldn't choose this stinky bastard. Kushina glared at Yizan fiercely, making Yizan bewildered. After Namikaze Minato left, there were only 4 people left at the door. Mawako with Yuhi face, Kushina with staring eyes, Yizan with inexplicable appearance, and Uchiha Makoto who was holding hands by Yizan and stood silently by the side. Hey, you two, how long are you going to hold hands? For some unknown reason, Kushina directly aimed at Yizan, but Yizan was also a quarrel expert. He rolled his eyes, lifted the hand he was holding, and deliberately shook it in front of Kushina. What? Someone holding hands? Or, are you jealous? Eat you big bastard. Even if I eat all the vinegar in the world, I won't eat the vinegar of you rascal. Kushina snorted, turned around and grabbed Mawako's hand. She glared at Yizan again, dragged Mawako left. Sister, let's go, this stinky rascal is really annoying, I hate him to death. Seeing Kushina and Mawako disappear into the distance, Yizan smiled, turned his head, and locked his eyes on Makoto. Zan, Brother Zan, what do you think I do? Makoto's little face gave Yuhi, she never dared to face Yizan's gaze. Nothing, it's just that I haven't seen Makoto for a long time. I'm very happy to see him now. His sweet words made Makoto's cheeks even more Yuhi, and he lowered his head again. Makoto, don't bow your head. Ah, Uchiha Makoto paused in confusion, but didn't respond in a daze. Don't bow your head, the crown will fall, don't cry, bad women will laugh. You know, this is a very popular saying in Konoha recently. After Yizan finished speaking, he took Makoto and walked forward. Let's go, my little one. Makoto, go for a walk and take you home later. Yizan said it a little later, so it was directly late at 8 o'clock in the evening. Makoto is the granddaughter of the elder Uchiha, and the mansion is in the center of the Uchiha family. Entering the Uchiha settlement, Yizan still held Makoto carelessly. Along the way, countless Uchiha people watched, and many Uchiha whispered. Isn't that the granddaughter of the great elder, Uchiha Makoto? Yeah. How to hold hands with a stranger? I don't know, who of you knows a man? I don't know. I remember, didn't Fugaku keep chasing Makoto? What's the situation now? I don't know. What else do you say besides saying you don't know and don't know each other? I don't know. Quote. The Uchiha family only wears Uchiha's clothes, and Yizan's appearance is already conspicuous, and a foreigner holding the granddaughter of the great elder is even more conspicuous. But Fugaku is only the next patriarch, and even if this group of Uchiha people think that Fugaku is wearing a green hat, they are not bored enough to stand up for the next patriarch. It's here. Well, it's here. Makoto nodded, her voice was as low as a mosquito, and being watched by the clansmen along the way, she was extremely shy. If it wasn't for Yizan's pull, she might not even be able to walk. The two stood at the gate of the mansion, and there were still a few Uchiha people pointing around. Yizan was not annoyed, just smiled and put down Makoto's hand. Go back. After Makoto finished speaking, she slowly turned around and walked towards the house, and just a few steps into the yard, the wooden door of the big house opened, and an old man and a young man walked out talking and laughing. Makoto. Young man saw Makoto, the smile on his face became even wider, but the next second, when he found Yizan at the door, his face suddenly turned cold. Kai, village, Zan, why are you here? Yo, what a coincidence, Uchiha Fugaku, who was defeated by me twice, is the injury healed last time? Yizan smiled and waved his hand, then walked to the old man step by step. You are Makoto's grandfather. I didn't bring any gifts, I hope Grandpa understands. Yizan raised his head with a smile, and Uchiha Lin lowered his head silently, as if the junior looked up to the elder, but Yizan's eyes were filled with strong arrogance and confidence, while Uchiha Lin's eyes were filled with surprise and shock. With such a strong aura, with such a proud look, you are the son of Lord Danzo, Shimura-zan. He was really surprised to know that as an elite Jonin and the great elder of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Lin showed the strength of the superior in every move, but when he faced Yizan, he felt a little oppression, which was spiritual oppression. This is an additional effect produced after Yizan learned QB 9 Tails chakra recovery power. The natural oppressive aura of the tailed beasts, even if they leapfrog and face elite Jonin, can also play a role. Yes, I'm Shimura-zan. A distinguished guest like me is coming, are you not going to invite me in to entertain you? Chapter 93_Mirror 1 Vessel 1/10. Outside the residence of the great elder Uchiha, many Uchiha people were whispering. Inside, the light sandalwood lit up the green smoke, a few cups of tea, and a few snacks. The atmosphere is quiet and comfortable. Makoto bowed his head shyly. Yizan ate snacks on his own. Uchiha Lin was happy, the only Uchiha Fugaku, his face was ugly and blue. Elder, you said before. Okay, Fugaku, I'm not in a hurry today, I still need to think about it, if you have nothing to do. Uchiha Lin's intention to see off the guest was obvious. Fugaku's expression changed, his fists clenched tightly, and after an unknown amount of time, he gave Yizan a cold look, stood up, and bowed to Uchiha Lin. Anyway, I hope the elders will consider my previous proposal, then Fugaku will leave first. After he finished speaking, he glanced at Yizan again, snorted coldly, and strode out of the mansion. Yizan was surprised by Uchiha Lin's attitude. He always thought that the great elder of the Uchiha clan would speak coldly or even hostile to him, but he didn't expect that Uchiha Lin drove Fugaku away, and when he looked at himself, he smiled and let Yizan feels that everything is not very real. If he didn't understand, he asked. Yizan didn't care about anything. He took a sip from the teacup and nodded, good tea. Haha, the old man has been studying the tea ceremony for decades, and it is not a waste of my decades of hard work to be praised by a little friend. Uchiha Lin's attitude was more kind, and the tone of his speech made Yizan feel Kiba hurt. Or you can call me Xiaoshuan, little friend or something, I really don't get used to it. Yizan was carefree, but Uchiha Lin was not annoyed. He smiled, then glanced at Makoto. I heard about you and Makoto a long time ago. Oh, look at your posture, don't you object? Why should I object? You are not Uchiha. It's different. Uchiha Lin stopped Yizan's question. He rubbed Makoto's head with a smile, and his tone became more gentle. I am indeed the chief elder of the Uchiha clan, but I am also Makoto's grandfather. There is one thing you may not know, the position of my great elder was passed on to me by Elder Jing before his death. Elder Jing. Yizan was startled and nodded suddenly. Elder Jing, naturally referring to Uchiha Kagami, is a direct disciple of the second generation of Hokage, and a teammate of Sarutobi and Danzo. Uchiha Kagami is one of the few people in the Uchiha clan who can surpass the narrow eyes of the clan. He worked hard for the development of Konoha village and made great contributions, but unfortunately he died on the battlefield. Yizan didn't know much about Uchiha Kagami in his previous life, and he didn't know much about Uchiha Kagami's status in the clan. He didn't expect that Uchiha Kagami was actually the great elder of the Uchiha clan, and the old man in front of him actually had such a relationship with Uchiha Kagami. Relation? Dare you ask? You are from Uchiha Kagami. I'm his uncle. I see. Yizan finally understood. No wonder the old man was kind to him. It turned out to be the uncle of Uchiha Kagami. Before his death, the nephew passed on the position of the great elder to the uncle, which means that Uchiha Lin is someone whom Jing particularly trusts. The Uchiha family is divided into two factions in this era. Most of them are the ambitious faction that follows the patriarch, and a small part is the fusion faction that follows the elder, hoping to truly integrate into Konoha, so the son of the real power faction is also moderate. Since it is Elder Jing's uncle and Makoto's grandfather, then I dare to call you Grandpa. Yizan has always been a shameless person. When he said this, he seemed to have directly confirmed the relationship between himself and Makoto, which made Makoto's head droop deeper and deeper, and even Uchiha Lin twitched the corners of his mouth speechlessly. Stinky brat, don't put your nose on your face. I didn't agree with you and Makoto. After Uchiha Lin finished speaking, he forgot that Makoto was kneeling beside him. The little girl was shocked, and even without being shy, she immediately raised her head. Grandpa. She shouted, and then suddenly reacted. Her cheeks were penetrating. She glanced at Yizan quietly, and after seeing the wicked smile at the corner of Yizan's mouth, she finally couldn't help but snorted and ran away house. Uchiha Lin was helpless. Yizan just smirked, but when Makoto left, Uchiha Lin finally straightened his face, and the atmosphere in the whole room became solemn. Xiaozan, let me call you Xiaozan, do you know the current situation of our Uchiha? I know. The dignified atmosphere also made Yizan serious. He nodded seriously. Obviously it was time to talk about business now. Now that Yizan knows, it's easy to talk about things. After a moment of silence, Uchiha Lin said slowly, I'm too old to live for many years. At present, there is no one in our family who can hold out. The patriarch. I hope that his son and Makoto will marry, and after I die, rely on this title to easily control our line, and then Uchiha will be completely united. You mean to say that Uchiha is totally united and will look for an opportunity to usurp power? It will bring disaster to Konoha then. No, Xiaoshuan, you're wrong. Uchiha Lin's face was serious, his eyes twinkled with wisdom. Konoha has Sarutobi, your father Danzo, Minister Anbu, and those who are already masters of quasi-shadow. Tsunadiheim, why did Uchiha usurp power? These guys who were blinded by ambition, were still alive when Madara-sama existed, but now the world has changed. Konoha is no longer the world of Senju and Uchiha. I am sure that once Uchiha usurped power, Konoha take out Uchiha without breaking a sweat. Yizan was shocked by Uchiha Lin's words. He didn't expect this old man to have such a clear understanding. He couldn't help but straighten his face again and asked seriously, Elder, what do you mean? The meaning is very simple. In order for Uchiha to survive, I will continue to fight against the clan of the clan. I will not help the clan with Makoto, but I will not help you on the bright side. I hope you can suppress the clan of the clan. A dowry with Makoto. Break up 10 updates, throw up the monthly pass for February. At least let me rush to the monthly ticket list on the first day equals close black lens bracket. Chapter 94 played by Tsunade. After leaving from the Uchiha family, Yizan has been frowning. There was a doubt in his heart, and he didn't know why Uchiha Lin said this to himself. After all, he is Danzo's son. Uchiha Lin also understands this, but why tell himself? Why didn't Danzo tell himself? Is it? Yizan was stunned for a moment, and there was a flash of clarity in his eyes. There is a possibility that Danzo did not support the Uchiha Kagami line at all. Yizan knew Danzo. Although he spoiled himself, although he loved Konoha, he was still the root of Konoha's darkness. This has never changed. If you guess more, Danzo may have been supporting the lineage of the patriarch, in a way that even Uchiha has not discovered. He wants Uchiha to be unified. Once unified, he can unite all forces to usurp power, and when that time comes, he will be able to destroy it in an open and fair manner. Uchiha Danzo inherited the ideas of the second-generation Hokage and wanted to destroy Uchiha, while Sarutobi inherited the ideas of the first generation, hoping to coexist with Uchiha. Regarding the world outlook and outlook on life, Yizan will not change Danzo. Unless forced by family affection, he may be able to change, but why? Just based on Uchiha Lin's words, Yizan is going to force Danzo. Sorry, Elder, I will take good care of your granddaughter, but you Uchiha family, I will not care tilde. Yizan smiled and didn't care about his own breach of contract. Of course, he would not add to the flames. Uchiha will not be destroyed, it doesn't matter when it is destroyed. In this life, Yizan just wants to live happily, and what kind of mess it would be too tiring to manage. After figuring this out, Yizan resumed his bouncing state again. He twisted his butt stock and suddenly found that he was hungry. After walking with Makoto for a few hours, the barbecue is all digested. What should I do if I'm hungry? Yizan's eyes rolled, and he suddenly had an idea. Eat when you are hungry. You can't treat yourself badly. At this time, you can buy some supper and go to Tsunade's house to eat. Well, by the way, buy a few more bottles of wine. If Tsunade gets drunk, maybe can. He tilde. Yizan smirked, almost drooling from the corners of his mouth. When he reached the fork in the road home, he immediately turned and walked towards the commercial street. Tsunade's home is located in Sanji, east of Konoha. Yizan hurried up with a large bag of food and slammed the door a few times, making Tsunade, who was about to take a bath, puzzled. Who is it? It's me, wife, open the door. Kacha tilde. The door was opened by Tsunade, just as Yizan was about to walk in excitedly. Boom. With a loud noise, Yizan took a few steps back and covered his nose in pain. Tsunade, you dead woman, ah. My nose. Yizan blinked his eyes, tears welling up all at once. He rushed up and kicked the door twice, cursing, damn woman, I kindly bought you food, but you actually bullied me. Crunch. The door was opened again. Tsunade stuck his head out and found the big bag in Yizan's hand, and finally regretted it. I'm sorry, Xiaoshuan, I told you not to shout from your wife, but you didn't listen. I wanted to punish you, but... Hee, you little pervert still think of me tilde. While she took the bag in Yizan's hand, she shook the other hand on Yizan's nose. The green light flickered, and immediately, Yizan's nose no longer hurt. Humph, you were my wife. Yizan angrily squeezed Tsunade away and walked into the room, lying on the sofa as soon as he grunted, but when he found a very pure fragrance penetrated into the tip of his nose, he turned his head in doubt. Wow, when did you wear a D-cup? Yizan's eyes widened in surprise. Next to his head, a black hood was placed there. The model above was the D-cup. HMPH, little pervert, close your eyes. Tsunade was very proud of the gangster who grew up again. She slapped Yizan's face with her palm, forced Yizan to close her eyes, and then took away the thing next to Yizan's head. Don't take it, I want it. Bah, don't even think about it. Kushina is right, you're a scumbag. Tsunade glared at Yizan fiercely and threw the thing on the other sofa, then she opened the bag and took out the supper one by one. Eel sushi, salmon sushi, chow mein, fried chicken nuggets, fried chicken wings, sake, not bad. Quote. Tsunade said. A trace of saliva flowed from the corner of her mouth. She could not refuse the top-level night snack configuration of fried chicken nuggets and sake no matter what. And just when Tsunade was about to take out a piece of fried chicken to taste, Yizan slapped her hand away, and in her doubtful eyes, Yizan smiled and pointed to the bathroom room. Look at your posture. Are you going to take a bath just now? Go to wash first, and then come out to eat. Quote. Little pervert. Tsunade turned the Byakugan over, but did not refuse. She stood in front of Yizan, crossed her hands and grabbed the sides of her clothes, and slowly lifted it upwards. At that moment, Yizan was dumbfounded. He stared blankly at Tsunade, at the white belly, and then slowly moved up, slowly up. Ha 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 ha, you idiot. With a burst of laughter, Tsunade put down the corners of her clothes instantly, and she covered her stomach ha ha ha, laughing very happily. Bastard, you're playing with me. Only then did Yizan react. He angrily picked up the fried chicken nuggets on the coffee table and threw them at Tsunade. Tsunade opened his mouth, grabbed the fried chicken nuggets, and ate them. Down. Come on, continued Tilda. Humph, don't think about it. Go and take a shower. Yizan was sulking with his arms crossed. Tsunade giggled a few times. 3.6 then walked into the bathroom, room with graceful steps, and after a while, there was a rustling sound, followed by the sound of water hitting the ground. You didn't show it to me just now, but now I'll watch it quietly. Hearing the sound of water, Yizan rolled his eyes and tiptoed over. He leaned on the wall cautiously, and after waiting for a few minutes, he quietly bent down and looked in through the mesh ventilation slit under the wooden door. The thick mist and the clean feet, Yizan was still ready to look up, the next moment. Flutter. Ah! Yizan shouted, and was flushed out with hot water and drenched his face. Hearing the laughter from Tsunade inside, he pouted and muttered, knowing that he would not be able to see it today. Chapter 95-Super Urgent Mission. The next day, Anbu Base. Yizan stood in the square with a serious face. More than 50 people gathered together, and the atmosphere was extremely depressed. I received an urgent report last night that the Golden Horn troops of Kumogakure village broke into the Country of Fire and destroyed more than 10 villages on the border of the Country of Fire. No one in the villages, men, women and children survived. This is a massacre. Hatake Sakumo's face was gloomy, and his heart was full of murderous intent. For this bloody and brutal slaughtering of the village, even Yizan had murderous intent in his eyes. Lord Minister. Yizan took a step forward. In this serious occasion, he would not shout Hatake Sakumo's name like before. Speak. Hatake Sakumo cherished his words, his voice solemn and cold. Why is there a Golden Horn troops in Kumogakure village? Didn't the Golden Horn Silver Horn die with the second generation Hokage many years ago? Yizan's question happened to be a question for all Anbu. After all, everyone knew about this history and felt a little incredible about the sudden appearance of the Golden Horn troops. Xiaozan, you are wrong on this point. Although the Golden Horn Silver Horn has been dead for many years, this unit is an organization similar to Konoha Anbu, a special organization 05 of Kumogakure village, and their members are all from Kumogakure village. Selected by the elite and the most murderous experts, they are rare and extremely powerful. Hatake Sakumo paused, and after everyone digested the information, he continued, our mission is to stop the Golden Horn troops from invading. They wantonly destroy and kill people in the country of fire, we must stop it. Only we can stop it. Everyone understands is it? Understood. Everyone roared, their blood was surging, even Yizan opened his eyes angrily, and he had an unprecedented momentum in his heart. Konoha is Lao Su's territory. As long as Lao Su is willing, even Sarutobi can scold him. Golden Horn troops, dare to make trouble on Lao Su's territory, and Lao Su will destroy you all. This mission, Hatake Sakumo personally led the team. Yizan and more than 50 people followed to fight, searching for the whereabouts of the Golden Horn troops in the northeastern border of the Land of Fire, and among these 50 or so people, except Yizan, all were elite Jonin. Of the Raiden Thunder style mode that he used before Sarutobi Danzo. In the event of danger, it was no problem to just use it to escape. Moreover, this mission is led by Hatake Sakumo, and is equipped with more than 50 elite Jonin. It is purely a sniper battle to destroy the Golden Horn troops with the fastest speed. Yizan had some doubts about the sniper battle. After thinking carefully, he seriously said to everyone with a cautious attitude, this mission, everyone, don't let your guard down. Kumogakure village is not a fool, since they dare to send the corner troops come and don't worry about our Anbu being wiped out. What cards should we have? But at present, we don't know the opponent's cards, so we must be careful. Quote. Since the last time the Water Kingdom collapse plan was carried out, Yizan's status in Anbu has skyrocketed, and because everyone's remuneration has risen from 1 million to 2 million, everyone has accepted Yizan's love. Hatake Sakumo and the 50-odd elite Jonin not only did not ignore Yizan's reminder, but nodded earnestly anyway. They believed that Yizan's wisdom, especially in terms of careful thinking, would hardly be negligent. The mission was important and urgent. Everyone did not rest and set off immediately. Because the Golden Horn troops were too strong, they encountered people who killed people. Previously, the Konoha Intelligence Department reluctantly chose to retreat after losing more than a dozen people. That is to say, they searched for the Golden Horn troops. The whereabouts of them can only be accomplished by themselves. 1 day. 2 days. The Hatake Sakumo team continued to search the northeastern border of the Fire Nation, but the Fire Nation was too big, and the border of a country, even if it was only in the northeast, could not be found in a few days. It wasn't until the 3rd day that Hatake Sakumo stopped the action first. He walked to a small stream and squatted down to pick up the ashes on the ground. It's the ashes from burning wood, it's them. No. Huh, Xiaoshuan, what's wrong? Hatake Sakumo asked suspiciously. Yizan frowned, and his tone was somewhat affirmative. The Golden Horn troops are a more elite organization than our Anbu. If the wood is burned out, they can't stay, unless they didn't want to hide at all. Yes, if this is the case, then there is another problem. They don't want to hide, it means they are willing to face us head-on, but we have more than 50 elite Jonin and the minister leading the team. Why did they think, can you beat us? This. Hatake Sakumo didn't know. He looked at Yizan. Yizan also shook his head. There was no clue, and he didn't dare to guess casually. Although we don't know what means the other party has, we still have to go. If we don't go, they will continue to slaughter the village. We must go. Hatake Sakumo made a decision, but Yizan did not refute it. He thought about it for a while, and reminded him seriously, you must go, but since the other party has nothing to fear, I hope to temporarily hand over the command of the troops to me. In the event of a situation, no matter what I say, whatever you say, you must unconditionally implement it, believe me, I will not harm everyone. Yizan's words made Hitaki Sakumo hesitant for a moment, but thinking of Yizan's performance in the collapse of the Water Kingdom, he finally nodded. Okay, the command of the troops is temporarily handed over to you. Hitaki Sakumo agreed, and the elite Jonin naturally followed, and the troops set out again to continue the search. 2 days later, when the Anbu team found that the northeast was about to turn west, Hyuga Soji, who was with the team, finally exclaimed. I found it. He opened Byakugan with joy and anger on his face. Damn, these dogs are killing the village. Which location? How many people? 2 kilometers to the left, there are a dozen people. Go, don't mess up the formation, move forward at full speed. Yizan ordered, and everyone rushed towards the target location quickly. Soon, countless screams came from afar, and raging flames burned throughout the village. Shish. The Anbu arrived at their destination, and the Golden Horn troops reacted instantly. However, just after the people of the Golden Horn troops gathered in an instant, Yizan's face changed drastically, and his voice was sharp in shock. Retreat. Everyone retreat. The man in the middle is the 3rd generation of Reikage. Chapter 96_Breakthrough Jonin. 3 generations of Reikage. What a horrible name. Among the powerhouses surviving today, the 3rd generation Reikage is the only powerhouse with the same name as Sarutobi, even stronger. Yizan exclaimed. Hitaki Sakumo was shocked. He grabbed Yizan and ran back without thinking. Not only Yizan knew 3 generations of Reikage, but everyone in Anbu had seen the portraits of cage-level powerhouses in various villages. When they saw it clearly, there was only one word in their hearts. Run. However, the next moment, a flash of lightning flashed, and the 3 generations of Reikage came first, instantly blocking everyone's retreat. Run. Can you run away? The deep voice carried infinite power, and then, the 3rd generation Reikage looked directly at Yizan and smiled coldly. If I guessed correctly, you are the little Anbu that I said. Right. You have such talent at such a young age, it should be killed. Fell. Terrifying murderous aura rushed towards Yizan. Hitaki Sakumo's eyes were sharp, and he suddenly pulled out the short knife on his back, like the light of the silver river in the 9 heavens, and cut it with one knife. Hitaki flow. Instant slash. Boom. With a loud bang, Yizan and the surrounding Anbu were directly blown away by the terrifying chakra. Everyone was shocked. Unexpectedly, the quasi-cage-level powerhouse and the cage-level powerhouse would fight against each other, and they and others were actually sent flying by the shock wave. Thunder flashed, the surrounding 10 meters of ground cracked and shattered. Hitaki Sakumo's face was cold, and a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. Quite cage-level strength, you must be Minister Anbu. 3rd generation of Reikage made a deep voice, and the Raiden Thunder-style armor on his body shone brightly, and Hitaki Sakumo's knife could not even bend the opponent's armor in the slightest. However, Hitaki Sakumo did not talk to him. He stared at each other with indifference on his face, kicked his feet, like a tiger ready to go, and suddenly burst out. 20 people will drag the 3 generations of Reikage with me, and the rest, kill the Golden Horn troops. Quote. In an instant, murderous aura boiled over the entire forest, and various escape techniques destroyed the forest. After Hitaki Sakumo and 20 elite Jonin dragged down the 3rd generation Reikage, Yizan finally stopped hiding his strength, chakra released wildly, and dazzling thunder resounded all around. Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode. How is that possible? Near Yizan, Jonin, an elite of the Golden Horn army, shouted out in surprise, and just as he was distracted, the 2 Anbu besieging him seized the opportunity at the same time and pierced his heart with one blow. Go on. Don't stop. Speed up the Golden Horn. That the 2 Anbu were staring at him, Yizan immediately ordered, and then he kicked his legs suddenly, as if the air burst, and killed another Jonin from the Golden Horn with a boom. Due to the exclamation of the previous elite Jonin, everyone discovered Yizan's specialness. Seeing Yizan attacking, the elite Jonin laughed bloodthirsty and forced Anbu back with a punch. Killing. What about Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode? Under my fist, all have to die. Boom. The thunder flashed, and the fist containing thunder and lightning bombarded Yi Zhan, making a big depression in the thunder and lightning armor. Yi Zhan's face turned pale, and the thunder and lightning armor made by Chunin Chakra was instantly consumed to resist the attack. However, the fist was only 1 millimeter away from Yi Zhan's body, but this millimeter could not get in. Under the inexplicable gaze of the other party, the lightning armor began to rebound and bounced his fist back. How is it possible? How could Chunin be able to block my fist? Go to hell and you'll know. Yi Zhan shouted and waved his chakra knife. When the opponent's old strength was exhausted, he suddenly used force and pierced the opponent's head with a knife. This elite Jonin died inexplicably, but made all the Golden Horn troops vigilant, and the third generation of Reikage, who was dragged by Hatake Sakumo and others, also discovered Yi Zhan's situation. What a terrifying kid. This Raiden Thunder Style armor, Ice practice is not as good as him. Also, how much chakra does he have? Seeing Yi Zhan dashing towards the rest of the ninja with lightning flashes all over his body again, the third generation Reikage was also stunned. Flutter. Kill one. Puff. Kill another one. With QB Ninetales chakra recovery power, Yi Zhan's chakra is almost endless, but when he tried to charge again, his body froze, and the indescribable pain spread throughout his body. Oops. With my current body, can I only explode for so long? Yi Zhan fell abruptly to the ground, and many cells were burnt by lightning. However, because of his efforts, and the number of Anbu was twice as many as the Golden Horn troops, with the constant free Anbu to join other people's battles, the Golden Horn continued to be killed and injured. Faster and faster. But on the other hand, the Anbu who dragged down the 3 generations of Reikage are also dying faster and faster. Puff. Another Konoha elite, Jonin, was punched through by the 3rd generation Reikage and threw away the body. The thunder on the 3rd generation Reikage became more and more violent. Minister Anbu, come, only let your subordinates die, don't you dare to charge yourself. The 3rd generation Reikage had a fierce face, and his figure slanted, easily dodging an Anbu's attack, and waved his hand casually, as if slap like a fly. Boom. Surpassed ultimate made this Anbu unable to react. His cheek was shot by 3 generations of Reikage, and his whole head rotated dozens of times, and he couldn't die any longer. Damn it. Hatake Sakumo's face became colder and colder. He stared at each other, holding the short knife in front of him. Hatake sheds blood. Ha! Boom! The thunder and lightning roared and burned all the surrounding earth again. Hatake Sakumo's short knife was firmly embedded in the shield of the 3rd generation Reikage, only a little dent. Call out. The thunderbolt fist ripped through the air and blew Hatake Sakumo's mask away. He used all his strength to back up and quickly retreated a few steps, dodging the attack of the 3rd generation Reikage. At this moment, after losing a few Anbu, the Golden Horn troops finally died out. All Anbu surrounded the 3 generations of Reikage. The scene was spectacular, but a bit bleak. 50 brothers, there are only a dozen or so left. But we have to fight, we can't run away. With the speed of the 3 generation Reikage, even if we run apart, he can catch up and kill us one by one. The only way to survive now is to drain his chakra and break his Raiden Thunder Style armor. Homies, kill. Hatake Sakumo gave an order, and the Anbu's tried their best again. At the same time, Yi Zhan lay stiffly on the ground, tilting his head. His chakra volume kept rising, and in the crisis of death and the battle just now, he finally broke through and became Jonin. Chapter 97-New S-Class Ninjutsu. A scream, one by one Anbu died in the hands of the 3rd generation Reikage. Yi Zhan knelt on the ground and moved his body. The dried cells gradually became active, and the dead cells were also replaced by new cells. Fortunately, after only using it for so long, Raiden Thunder Style ninjutsu really is a skill that hurts others and hurts oneself. Yi Zhan thought to himself, his eyes silently staring at the 3rd generation Reikage. The strength of the 3 generations of Reikage should not have reached the peak. Now World War II has just started. When he was 1v10,000, it should be at the end of the Third World War. There were more than 10 years between them, and that was his strongest period. Ignoring the screams of Anbu's tragic death, Yizan concentrated all his thoughts in his mind. He was thinking, in this case, how can he defeat the 3 generations of Hokage? Run! You will definitely not be able to run away. You must defeat the opponent, otherwise no one will be able to leave alive today. If the 3rd generation Hokage has not reached the strongest strength, according to the color of the face fruit, his Radiant Thunder style mode should be orange, and it has not reached the point of being completely unbreakable, and the best way to break it is to break it. Face. It was mentioned in the original book that the only time Hokage was injured in his life was when he was fighting against the 8 Tails. He hit himself with a single hand. The same level of spear and shield, but because the power of the spear was more concentrated, the shield was broken. 903 inches. You don't have to think about it if you want him to use the first hand. If you don't face a strong enemy, he won't be able to use it, and it's impossible to change his attack direction by hitting the elbow, only me. Feng Klai, there is this mutual restraint attribute is there. As long as my ninjutsu is strong enough, it doesn't matter even if the level is close. As long as I break the face, it doesn't matter if the power is weak. Quote. As long as I can develop a ninjutsu like a book. Thinking of this, Yizan closed his eyes, and the chakra in his body started to work. He had a super fast recovery speed, so he didn't need to care about the consumption of chakra, and the chakra volume that had just been promoted to Jonin was also a very good opportunity. Fast conversion, fast condensation, Yizan's non-stop experiments, crazy, completely unconcerned about the experiments that chakra consumes, he concentrated all his mental power, just like the last time he fell into the water country, last time to save Tsunade, and this time, in order to save all Anbu's comrades in arms. Minutes and seconds passed, and the members of Anbu kept dying. In just 20 minutes, Anbu, who participated in the action this time, died a few times. Minister. Zongji, I'm sorry, it seems that this time, we all have to sacrifice here. Hatake Sakumo was a little desperate, he was about to give up, but Hyuga Soji patted his shoulder hard. Don't give up, don't forget, Shaozan is still here. He is our Konoha's hope, and he can't die here. Hyuga Zongji's words immediately made Hatake Sakumo look back at Yizan, and then he was surprised to find that Yizan closed his eyes and exuded a lot of power. No way, Xiaoshuan has become a Jonin. Hatake Sakumo opened his mouth wide in surprise, a little unbelievable. You must know that after a few months of precipitation, Yizan is only 8 years old, and 8-year-old Jonin. If Hatake Sakumo had not seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed it. But because of Yizan's breakthrough, Hatake Sakumo once again had hope in his heart. He didn't want Yizan to die like this. Yizan not only has a high IQ, but also has a high talent for cultivation. Once such a genius grows up, he will definitely be Konoha's top pillar Jinchuriki column. And Zan can break through in battle, and I, Hatake Sakumo, can too. His eyes narrowed, and he rushed towards the 3rd generation Hokage again. The power of death flashed in his pupils. He decided to take this blow and dedicate his life. Blessed to the soul, a flash of light flashed in Hatake Sakumo's mind. At the last moment, his Hatake swordsmanship finally broke through to an unprecedented level. He roared and instantly created his own unique skill. Hatake flow, all burn. A loud shout, the short knife flickered, and the 3-generation Hokage was stabbed in the front. The strong chakra collision formed a 10-meter ball, surrounded by thunder and electromagnetic neighing. As expected of Minister Konoha Anbu, what a pity. In the thunderball, the voice of the 3rd-generation Hokage came out, and then, a loud noise that shook the earth seemed to overturn the earth. Boom! Magnetic field shattered, thunder and lightning danced wildly, and Hatake Sakumo vomited blood and flew upside down. Instead of despair, there was a smile on his face. Breakthrough. The jade is burnt. but put it to death and then live. The powerful momentum continued to be released. Hatake Sakumo flashed, and when he reappeared, the white short knife stabbed the third generation of Reikage in the neck. Boom! Was another shock. Hatake Sakumo rolled a few times in midair, and stood firmly on the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his voice was cold and calm. As expected of the third generation Reikage, even at the same level, it cannot destroy your Raiden Thunder style. Hatake Sakumo steadily raised the short knife in his hand to point to the third generation of Reikage, and then, the cage-level chakra burst out, and he used the unique trick he just created again. Hatake Flow. All burn. The same move under the blessing of cage-level chakra. The power has undergone earth-shaking changes. This time, even the third generation Reikage has a dignified face, and the chakra output reaches ultimate. Puff. The short knife piercing, which contains all the chakras of Hatake Sakumo, all the spiritual power has a lot of vitality, and finally pierced the Raiden Thunder style armor, but the short knife progress is very slow, 1 cm by 1 cm stab. But the point is, Raiden Thunder style armor is not set in stone. Seeing that the armor was about to be pierced, the third generation Reikage focused his eyes and gathered most of the chakras in front, blocking the advance of the short knife. Hatake Sakumo, who has just entered the cage level, even if he uses a unique trick, his attack is not as good as the one in the strongest period of the original book. Such a powerful one, it only pulls a huge scar on the heart of the 3 generations of Reikage. It can be imagined it is known that once the Raiden Thunder style armor begins to condense, its defensive power is absolutely amazing. However, just when everyone thought Hatake Sakumo was lost, Yizan finally opened his eyes. The oppression of life and death made his brain run fast, and his mental power actually broke through to 4 times that of ordinary people. All chakras are forcibly condensed. All chakras are transformed into futon wind style. Pushed to the tip of the index finger to form a violent spiral cone. Reikage like a cheetah, and stabbed him fiercely under the surprised gaze of the other party. 3 generations of Reikage, give me face and commit suicide. Futon wind style. Spiral thrust. Chapter 98-stupid and cute. The fingertip-sized cyan all, spinning like an electric drill, stabbed into the back of the third generation Reikage. At this moment, since the third generation Reikage moved most of the chakra to the front to resist Hatake Sakumo, and the Raiden Thunder style armor on the back was at its weakest, Feng Klai, even if only Janen's chakra amount, converged at a pole, the power of spinning and tearing produces extremely powerful force. If I hadn't thought the name was too ugly, I would have called it futon wind style. Electric drill. Yizan complained in his heart, and his index finger continued to thrust forward. After only half a second, the frantically rotating wind cone pierced through the Raiden Thunder style armor, as if a needle pierced a balloon. With a sound of boo, the armor was broken. Puff. The whole index finger sank into the back of the third Reikage, and the terrifying whirlwind spun directly in his body. The face of the third Reikage changed dramatically, and the Raiden Thunder style armor in front was fully retracted to resist the attack of the whirlwind. Hatake Sakumo's knife finally cut through the shield when he took back a lot of chakra. Swish. Escape, the sky is full of blood. Left shoulder to the right waist, a huge wound was cut by Hatake Sakumo's short knife. The flesh and blood flew, and the thunder and lightning scorched the overflowing flesh and blood. The third generation of Reikage's face was pale, and a huge frustration rose in his heart. Go. If you don't leave, it's over. This is the only time the 3 generations of Reikage have escaped since he was born. He roared and tried his best to explode Raiden Thunder style, bursting out in all directions in 360 degrees, blasting Yizan and Hatake Sakumo into the air, and then he ignited Raiden again. Thunder style mode. I ran away without looking back. Third generation of Reikage wanted to escape, but no one could catch up. He ducked at the last moment, so that Yizan's fingers happened to brush his heart. Even so, he was seriously injured. His body was so strong that he would have died a long time ago. Yizan did not chase, nor did Hataki Sakumo. After using this move, Yizan's chakra was replenished again, but his mental power almost collapsed. Run, gather, develop. In the 20 minutes between life and death, he developed an S-rank ninjutsu. Yizan's brain nerves were completely confused. Seeing the third generation of Reikage escape, the threat of death was lifted. Mind, eyes rolled over, completely fainted. Hataki Sakumo was even worse. Although he was successfully promoted to a cage-level powerhouse, he had already drained all his chakra and spiritual power by using 2 consecutive unique moves, and even lost a lot of vitality. Turning, almost at the same time as Yizan was in a coma. The remaining Anbu, look at me, I look at you, and finally started to flee with Yizan and Hataki Sakumo respectively. They were afraid that the third generation Reikage would come back. Opponent. Fortunately, the third generation of Reikage was badly injured by Yi Xuanyi's finger. He was still thinking, but fortunately he ran fast enough. If he was caught up by that group of elite Jonin, he might die here. When Yizan woke up again, a whole week had passed. The white ward, the clean environment, the needle on the back of the hand, and a large bottle hanging high on the shelf beside him. Meow, why is Lao Su infusion? After a week of recuperation in a coma, Yizan's mental strength was completely restored. After waking up, his mental state was extraordinarily abundant. For example, at this moment, his other hand without a pin, pong pong, slapped the iron guardrail next to him, huge. The voice immediately attracted the attention of the corridor nurse. Konoha Hospital is divided into civilian hospital and ninja hospital. Those who work in the ninja hospital naturally treat ninjas. Yizan and Hataki Sakumo were resisted by Anbu Jonin. They caused a shocking sensation. Of course, the sensation was only for a moment. Sarutobi and Danzo quickly blocked all news and hurried to the hospital. When the two were taken into the hospital, they were still wearing Anbu's special combat uniform. Many people in the hospital saw it, but Anbu was originally on a high-risk mission, so there were not a few Anbu who were carried to the hospital. Only this time was different, especially the nurse in charge of Yizan. In the past few days when Yizan was in a coma, Danzo Tenten had to visit Yizan. She accidentally knew that Yizan was Danzo's son. The son of Lord Danzo, who is also Konoha Anbu, has a noble identity, one can imagine it. Hearing the violent slaps from the ward, the nurse pushed open the door and rushed in. Afterwards, her expression froze, and she glanced at Yizan cautiously. Master Zan, what's the matter with you? Huh, what's wrong? Yizan was stunned, and finally stopped when he found someone at the door. He didn't understand what the nurse meant, and scratched his head stupidly, and that look looked stupid and cute. It's over, Lord Danzo's son. Seems stupid. The nurse felt that the whole sky was about to fall. The son of the Konoha boss she was in charge of was so stupid, even if it had nothing to do with her, but with the character of these bosses, she would definitely be angry with herself, right? Must be slaughtered, right? Woohoo, I finally became a stable medical ninja, why is my life so hard? Under Yizan's surprised eyes, the young female nurse in her 20s stood at the door of the ward just like that, covering her face and crying. At the same time, Tsunade happened to come to the hospital to visit Yizan. She came over suspiciously. When she found the crying female nurse and Yizan who was alive and well, Kibaguan took a bite, rushed in and rewarded Yizan with a big chestnut. Boom. Ah, smelly woman, why do you knock me on the head as soon as I meet you? What if you knock me stupidly? Humph, knock silly is better, so you don't bully girls all day long. What are you bullying girls? Why can't I understand what you're talking about? I just woke up. Stop arguing. Look how sad the little nurse at the door is crying. It's you who bullied others. Stinky woman, you have wronged me. I will bite you to death. The two of them made trouble in the ward, and the female nurse standing at the door gradually stopped crying. She opened her eyes wide and looked at Tsunade with admiration in her eyes. Master Tsunade is worthy of being the strongest medical ninja in Konoha. He was mentally retarded a second ago, but he was beaten by Master Tsunade. It's amazing. Chapter 99. Danzo also came with a burst of chestnuts. In the end, Yizan was discharged from the hospital. He was not physically injured, mainly due to the excessive use of his mental power. Now that his spirit has recovered, he will naturally be alive and well. Unfortunately, in the situation that day, I thought I was dead, and I didn't have time to think about using the face fruit. Fortunately, I used it on the third generation Hokage at the last minute. This book. Tisk tisk tisk. The Sea of Consciousness. Yizan twisted his buttocks proudly, and the third generation Hokage escaped. The duel was determined as his victory, and then he sucked a book from the third generation Hokage's body, an orange book. Open black lens bracket Raiden, Thunder style. One Piece S orange 200 ingots close black lens bracket. Yo ho 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 ho. Yizan Yangtian laughed and resolutely bound the skills. After the skill was bound, he turned to another skill, which was the Rotten drill he developed, the S-rank Futon Wind style ninjutsu. Open black lens bracket Futon Wind style. Spiral Thorn S blue 40 ingots close black lens bracket. In order to ensure the power of the skill, when Yizan stabbed the third generation Hokage, he upgraded the white skill he had just developed to 1 level, and used the Heart of the Strong to double the power of ninjutsu, and only then used the mere strength of Jonin to break it. With the Raiden Thunder style armor, he accomplished something that even a cage-level powerhouse would find difficult to accomplish. The ingots are almost used up again. I will wait so hard. When will I be able to eat the ingots as food? Yizan sighed and his consciousness returned to his body. At this moment, Yizan was heading to the Hokage building with Tsunade and looked at the bag that was swollen on the back of his hand. Wife O_O. Die. Dear Tsunade, Sama O_O. What's the matter? _. Can you treat the back of my hand *********? No. Operator. Yizan pouted aggrievedly and muttered something in a low voice. He was messing around with Tsunade in the ward before, forgetting that the needle was still inserted into the back of his hand, but he used too much force. The back of his hand quickly swelled up. Originally the nurse would also use healing ninjutsu, but under Tsunade's stern gaze, the nurse could only shrink her head in silence. In Tsunade's words, it is to punish Yizan, a little pervert, who told Yizan to bully girls when he wakes up. I said I didn't bully her. Why did she cry? I don't know at all. Yizan yelled in the street, ignoring the onlookers, but Tsunade was also a cheeky person. Facing the onlookers, she just smiled softly. The evil in the smile made Yizan's heart thump. The drumming. Shaozan, I see, you don't need to remind me. I won't tell you about the matter of you breaking into the house and stealing women's underwear, clothes these days. Her voice was not loud, but it happened to be heard by the surrounding civilians. At that moment, everyone's eyes on Yizan changed, and there were even a few aunts and 8 wives whispering. I didn't expect this kid to be a lecher. Yeah, if you don't study well at a young age, you can still get it when you grow up. Remember to put the clothes back at night. I'll go and put them away in a while, and I won't leave the socks for him. Still don't accept it. This kid seems to be a ninja. What if he can't steal something to provoke him and break in and annihilate us? I'm a big girl. It was a fat woman in her 50s who said she was a big girl. Yizan almost vomited when she covered her face with shyness. Strong your sister, just like you. Boom. Yuhi bag appeared on Yizan's head. His eyes were turning in circles, and he only felt that the sky was spinning, and he leaned against Tsunade without falling. Tsunade blew his fist, grabbed Yizan's clothes, and dragged Yizan directly to the Hokage building. Hokage building, Hokage office, Sarutobi, Danzo, 2 major consultants and Jiraiya and Orochimaru are all present. Hatake Sakumo is still recovering in the intensive care unit of the hospital. His injury is much more serious than that of Yizan, and it will be difficult to recover within a month or two. In the office, everyone looked at Yizan curiously, and the curious eyes made Yizan scratch the back of his head a little embarrassedly. Yo, all the little devils in Shimura's house know how to be shy. Jiraiya groaned, causing everyone present to chuckle. Humph, I know how to be shy, so what's wrong? It's better than you. At such an old age, I don't know how to be shy. I go to the bath every day to peek at the girl taking a bath. They don't know about your shameless things, and I don't know it yet. What, stupid brat, don't talk nonsense without proof. I can sue you for defamation if you insult my glorious image. Sue, go and sue. My dad is Danzo, so what if you sue? Yizan held his head high, and the momentum of the second generation of officials suddenly shocked Jiraiya to take a step back, and the idiot-like performance of the two men again made Tsunade unable to bear it. Boom! Boom! Yizan and Jiraiya squatted down with their heads covered at the same time. Some jokes. The dignified atmosphere in the office gradually loosened. Yizan hid behind Danzo and gestured to Jiraiya with his middle finger from time to time. Cough cough. Shaozan. Sarutobi coughed lightly, staring at Yizan, but Yizan didn't care about the other party's cough. He directly pointed his middle finger to Sarutobi, and raised his eyebrows arrogantly. Well, for Yizan, Sarutobi expressed his helplessness. He directly made a color to Tsunade, and then Tsunade walked up to Yizan and whispered in Yizan's ear. Handsome Sir Shaozan, Ape 4.7 Teacher Fei is asking you something tilde. Tsunade's voice was very soft, and he deliberately blew a breath in Yizan's ear. Yizan froze in an instant. He even ignored everyone's attention, turned his head and kissed Tsunade. Boom! Oops! Yizan shouted and crouched on the ground again. He looked up aggrievedly and found that it was Danzo who hit him in the head. Why are you hitting me? This is a public place, pay attention to etiquette. Danzo straightened his waist. His eyes were majestic, with the seriousness of a great man. The next time you kiss Tsunade, you must be in a place where no one is around, being watched by Sarutobi and Jiraiya. It's a big loss. Yizan. Circle.operator. Oh, circle.operator. Chapter 100 _ I'm not targeting everyone. There are a few questions now. Although we have already obtained general information from several Anbu's mouths, Shaozan, you have the most say, so I still want to hear what you have to say. In Hokage's office, Sarutobi gasped silently. He glanced at Danzo, and asked about privacy. It was better for Danzo to ask. The first thing, Xiaoshuan, have you broken through Jonin? Tilde. When Yizan chakra let go, Danzo nodded with satisfaction. As expected of my son. Then the second thing, what kind of ninjutsu did you seem to have developed? Broke the Raiden Thunder style armor of 3 generations of Raikage. Did you mean this? Yizan raised his right hand, and after a while, a cyan whirlwind formed a sharp awl. Because the chakra was too dense, the front half of the awl even turned dark cyan. Try the trick. The wind cone is extremely small, but it condenses all the chakras of a Jonin. It is controlled by Yizan Nishin's spiritual power, making the wind cone look extremely smooth. The documents on the table were flying. After 05, Yizan aimed his index finger at Jiraiya and walked towards the other side. Jiraiya's face froze, and his hands quickly hand-seal. Ninja. Needle Jizo. Jiraiya's hair spreads out and grows in an instant, wrapping the whole person. This is his original A-grade ninjutsu. With the blessing of chakra, the hair is extremely hard and difficult to break. However, zzz. A harsh sound like sawtooth cutting metal sounded, and the white hair flew wildly. Yizan's index finger stabbed in without a pause. Seeing that the cyan sharp cone was getting closer and closer to his head, Jiraiya's face changed greatly, and he immediately cancelled the printing style. Rolling and crawling back a few steps. Damn it, you want to kill me, little devil. He yelled, but it was Yizan's Byakugan who greeted him. Be careful in the future. If you get me offended, I'll use this trick to stick your chrysanthemum flower. His index finger moved, and Jiraiya was so frightened that he was cold all over, and immediately pinched his legs, and Yizan's vulgar words made everyone in the office sweat, and even Sarutobi jumped up cautiously, always feeling a chill down below. Cold. Okay, Xiaoshuan, everyone knows you're amazing, take back your ninjutsu. By the way, what level is this ninjutsu? What's its name? S-class, it's called Spiral Spur, it's very apt. It's really fitting. Jiraiya looked at Yizan cautiously, until the futon wind style of the index finger disappeared, and he stood back again. At the same time, standing beside Sarutobi, Orochimaru, who never spoke, also came over curiously. His character was not right with Yizan, but Orochimaru was never ashamed to ask about powerful ninjutsu. This move is the same as in the legend. The original stunt of the 3 generations of Raikage is very similar to the book. Shimura-zan, can you describe the specific use of the spiral thrust? Maybe based on your skills, you can find the weakness of the book. Orochimaru's hoarse voice made the office suddenly become silent. You must know that everyone's technique is privacy within privacy. It would have been very bad for Yizan to show the spiral thrust on the spot, but Orochimaru actually wanted to know the specific operation method. Orochimaru. A scolding. Sarutobi gave Orochimaru a serious look. Orochimaru smiled hoarsely, and took a step back slowly. I'm sorry, Shimura-zan, I was negligent. It's nothing. Yizan shook his head and raised his right hand again. There's no need to decipher a book based on the spiral thrust. If you want to know, I'll just tell you. Everyone didn't understand, but Orochimaru's pupils shrank sharply, with an extremely shocked expression on his face. This trick is very difficult, and it took me a lot of time. Raiden Thunder style. It's perfect. Boom. Like a magnitude 18 earthquake, everyone's heads were stunned by the thunder in front of them. Not a real stun, but a shock. Shocking beyond imagination. The thunder flashed. Yizan's fingers turned dark blue, and a destructive aura swept across the office. However, after only a few seconds, Yizan frowned, and the Raiden Thunder style of his fingers disappeared. You fool! A loud scolding. Tsunade reacted the fastest. She quickly rushed to Yizan. Green light flashed, and after 5 minutes of treatment, Yizan's fingers returned to blood from pitch black. Idiot! From today onwards, this move in Raiden Thunder style Rasengan will be banned as a move. If you dare to use it again, my mother will ignore you in the future. Tsunade cursed, but his tone was extremely nervous. Yizan smiled wryly, and held Tsunade. His heart was full of warmth. Alright, it's the first time I've used it, and I didn't expect this move to do so much damage to my body. Well, I swear, I'll never use this move until my body can bear the damage. Humph. Tsunade pouted and reluctantly forgave Yizan, but when Tsunade was flirting with Yizan, the whole office was completely fried. 3 generations of Raikage, trick. Another S-rank ninjutsu. How is it possible? When was this trick developed? Everyone stared at Yizan, except for Danzo, who looked at Yizan's fingers with distress. The rest were shocked into fools. Fortunately, Yizan's fingers had been healed by Tsunade, and Danzo coughed twice, finally drawing everyone's attention back. Elder Menyon, put on your glasses. Elder Kaharu, put away your stun jaw. Sarutobi. Oh, ahem. Sarutobi wiped the corners of his mouth a little embarrassed, saying that he had absolutely no intention of coveting ninjutsu. The mood in the office finally calmed down, but everyone was still staring at Yizan. Under Danzo's gesture, Yizan raised his head and said proudly, I am born with wind and thunder attributes, and because I am born with strong mental strength, I am not afraid to check with me. Carrot's manipulation is also several times easier than ordinary people. Oh, I want to remind everyone here, I don't mean to target everyone, but what I want to say is that everyone, including you, are ordinary people. Quote. Yizan's words made everyone present with black lines, but he had to admit that Yizan was right. Sarutobi sighed helplessly, and continued to hide beside him smoking a suffocating cigarette.